The Black Knights of Army, there's the Marshall plaque that they always touch coming out of the field. How about Eastern Michigan? You talk about a grand entrance. They smashed down the cinder blocks here in the factory, as they call it, in Ypsilanti, Michigan at Rynearson Stadium. Expecting a great ball game here as we kick off a busy day on the network. It's college football, proudly presented by the Home Depot. 5-2 Army, 4-4 Eastern Michigan. They had a classic last year. We'll see what unfolds here today in Southeast Michigan. Alongside Ross Tucker, great to see you, Ross. My name is Ben Holden, and these two teams have had a knack for playing and winning and sometimes losing close games.
Yeah, it's awesome, and that's exactly what we're expecting today. Eastern Michigan, they've won a couple in a row, but they're the only FBS team 5 games decided by 3 points or less. Meanwhile, for Army, they've won 3 straight since that Oklahoma overtime loss, including an unbelievable game that you were at last week.
Last week, one of the best games I've ever had the pleasure and honor to call at Michie Stadium. How about this finish? Ragland's all but dead, but he makes a play, and Riley saves the game.
I have no idea how Ragland didn't fall down, and then Young, who's a talented running back, almost takes it in for the win, but Elijah Riley saves the day for West Point.
He did. Last week, the starter, Kelvin Hopkins, didn't go. More on that later, but he's back today, Ross.
And he's by far the best passing quarterback Army's had in a while, really added a new element to that offense.
He certainly has. As we shift our attention now to the home squad, Chris Creighton in his 5th year like Jeff Monken here at Eastern Michigan. He's had a lot of quarterbacks. He's had 2 this year. Today, though, he's going with a passing style guy in Wiegers.
Right, and Tyler Wiegers, let's not forget, he threw for over 300 yards against Purdue in that huge win earlier in the season. And you can see at the bottom of the screen what he did a week ago. He was the MAC West Offensive Player of the Week. The Iowa transfer can throw it.
He really can. So the stage is set here. We're in Ypsilanti, Michigan. We're about 5 miles from Ann Arbor, about a half hour from downtown Detroit. 45 degrees, winds around 10 miles an hour, and it's cloudy. And a perfect day for college football here on the network as Landon Salyers has it teed up. Set to boot it away. Arthur Jackson, the deep man. And Salyers puts the foot into it. The cannons go off. Fair catch is called for, and they'll have the ball 1st down and 10 with that fair catch rule in effect this year here in college football. Time to take a look at our Chick-fil-A starting lineups. There's the cow, Tucker. I know how much you love Chick-fil-A.
That's the goal for the airport.
It is.
Before I fly home.
There's one in there down by gate 70. I know the airport here well. And there's Tyler Wiegers. How about 66% completions? Leads the Mid-American Conference in a very good touchdown to interception ratio.
And I'm so happy that he's getting this opportunity as a 5th-year graduate transfer. Just wasn't able to get the playing time at Iowa.
He is a local product to this area from Detroit Country Day. And on 1st down, they get it to Blake Banham, converted running back, now their leading receiver, and doing a very good job in that department. And you like Shaq Vann in their backfield.
Well, he's going to be huge today because Army blitzes so much. He's excellent in pass protection, and he's going to have to be today.
Had an injury-filled career, has Shaq Vann, product from the state of Indiana. 3 career 100-yard rushing games. Here's Wiegers, turns and hands off, and it's Vann right on cue, and that Army front does a great job of clogging him up. And they're going to force him back about a loss of a yard on the play. And back to the Chick-fil-A lineups, and your guy is Nautical today. Why is that?
Well, I love both of their inside linebackers, Nautical and Christensen. Nautical, though, is the senior, and he's the one that has 5 sacks. He's usually the trail man when those 2 guys stunt. You'll see both linebackers blitz a lot. Nautical usually is the second blitzer, and that's why he gets so many of the sacks, because Christensen blows everything up.
3rd down and 6. First possession of the ball game. Eastern Michigan trying to convert. Trips up top of the screen. Wiegers looking that way, fires out there near the stick, and unable to come up with it was Gunnar Oaks. Incomplete. So Army forces the punt. Gibby Gibson, James Gibson on the coverage there, Ross.
They had him, Ben. He was open. It's just an out route from the tight end, and Tyler Wiegers would tell you he needs to complete that pass. It was right at the sticks. It would have been a 1st down, and you have to highly value every possession when you're Eastern Michigan. their offensive coordinator, Aaron Keene, said, we might only get 6 or 7 possessions. We got to make them count. Can't have 3 and outs. They just had one.
Yeah, that's part of the animal that is the triple option. Jake Julian with a good punt. Elijah Riley comes over, fields it at the 20. And Riley, pretty good run back there for Riley, about 9 yards on the return for the outstanding cornerback and punt return man for Army. As we take a look, more Chick-fil-A. The Cows signaling that. And we'll take a look at Kelvin Hopkins. And Hopkins injured a couple of weeks ago in the San Jose State game. Early in that game, took a shot to his thigh. It was actually the hip that he had surgery on. We learned yesterday it was bothering him more than anything, Ross.
Right, and he leads the team in rushing, even though he missed that game last week. He said it was really stressful to have to watch last week. I can imagine. I've been there before. It's not fun watching the other guys play.
He is back in there. Cam Thomas did an outstanding job stepping in and taking over as Darnell Woolfolk had the carry there. And there was a little bit of question with Woolfolk coming into this game, but he's a tough customer on the carry. You love Bryce Holland.
Bryce Holland, I think, could have a shot in the NFL if you wanted to give it one. He's been playing for 4 years at Army, which is almost impossible to do when you're learning a new offense like that. He is clearly the leader of that group up front and really fun to watch.
Yep, team captain Brent Davis telling us yesterday wants to be a special forces guy. Once he graduates from the academy, they go right up the gut again. And it's going to be a 3rd and short upcoming as we look at the Eastern Michigan defense, brought to us by Chick-fil-A. Your guy today, Jeremiah Harris.
Both of the defensive ends are good. Harris is the senior who had an incredible interception last week against Ball State, where he got his hand up, the ball popped up in the air, he went up and grabbed it. He's done a nice job this year coming off a torn ACL in week 11 a year ago.
Product of Lambertville, Michigan, down near the Ohio border. 3rd and 2, Andy Davidson. He's the fullback. Hopkins hands it off, and Davidson able to pick it up. So Davidson takes it out. They're going to spot him down at the 44-yard line, so they move the sticks, does Army.
Little bit of misdirection there from the Black Knights. You think everything's going right. They get the cut block on the backside. That was the key block. And Davidson is probably the best of the fullbacks at being able to find the hole and sliding into it like that with his athleticism.
And a great year a couple of years ago. Production was down last year due to Darnell Woolfolk and Kalen Holt as they get it to the outside. It's Jordan Asbury who's got some speed he can use. And he takes the ball just over the 47, gain of 4 on the play for Army.
Really nice job by Brody Hoying on the play. He doesn't end up making the tackle, but you'll see number 24 is exactly where he needs to be. He forces the ball carrier to go back inside where the rest of the green jerseys are. Hoying had a big game last week too, led the team with 11 tackles.
Yeah, he did. 5 solos, great lineage he's got. His godfather is former Ohio State quarterback Bobby Hoying. 2nd down now, Hopkins keeps it, and Hopkins gets it over the midfield line. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and short. Play Holford on the Stop Your Keys today, Ross.
Army got stuffed when they went in the red zone one time last week against Miami. That can't happen. And for Eastern Michigan, you know Army's going to go for it on most of their 4th downs. They lead the nation. They are 22 of 25 on 4th down, but they got stuffed by Miami once last week. Eastern Michigan's going to have to get a stop or 2 on some of these 4th downs to win.
They're down from last week in leading the country. They were 90.5%, now 88%.
It's incredible. It really is.
Really is. 3rd and 2. Woolfolk's the back. The fullback, Darnell Woolfolk, gets it and powers his way across the 45, nearly to the 44 of Eastern Michigan. So another 1st down for Army, and this is what they do so well. You touched on it. You might only get it 6 or 7 times a game.
Well, their time of possession's out of control. I mean, they lead the nation at 39 minutes and 13 seconds, including 44 minutes when they played the Oklahoma Sooners. 44 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been following football since I was 6 years old, Ben. I never heard of that in my life. 44 minutes time of possession? It's crazy.
It really is. They're the masters of it. 39-13 is the official number on the ground. About a yard on the pickup there. First possession of the ball game for the Black Knights here, trying to get to 6 wins, the magic number for bowl eligibility. So Calvin Hopkins takes over this offense. The start of the year as Jeff Monken had Ahmad Bradshaw. Such a good operator of this triple option. Monken over 500 in his Army career with that dramatic win last week against Miami.
He told us he doesn't quite have this team playing as well as he wants right now. Too many mental errors both sides of the ball last week.
8th play of the drive, and Eastern Michigan does the job on Darnell Woolfolk there, the right side of their line. Second level getting in there. They're all over Darnell Woolfolk there. Holford again.
Yeah, this is really where it starts. Nice job by the linebackers, including number 6 Pickett and Rockwall 51 filling on that. They weren't buying the triple option aspect of that at all. Both inside linebackers fired in the A-gaps on either side of the center to try to stop the fullback dive. And this is exactly what Neil Nethery, the defensive coordinator for Coach Chris Creighton, who you see right there, this is exactly what he said they needed to do. The key is to get him in 3rd and 6 or more. 3rd and 6 or more, you got a shot.
They got him in 3rd and 10. Here's Hopkins on the roll. Calvin Hopkins looking for a man, now fires, and it's caught. It is caught by Quentin Parker. They move the chains on 3rd and 10.
Well, this is the element that Hopkins brings that they haven't really had in a while. He threw the ball 25 times a game in high school out of the zone read. He's very comfortable throwing the ball. He said they told him, hey, if you come here, we will throw the ball more. And guess what? So far they have.
Jeff Monken, all of his stops, he told us a couple of weeks ago when we were up at West Point, he said he's the best throwing quarterback he's had in this offense ever. Darnell Woolfolk powering his way ahead. You must love watching him on tape too.
Well, I just love watching Army on tape. You know, as a former offensive lineman, I love watching the end zone camera, and so many teams in college football now, Ben, do the same thing. It's all zone read, spread out of 1 tight end, 3 receivers. To watch those big boys up front, how they change up their splits, how low they are in their stance, how they fire off, reminds me of high school, and frankly reminds me of why you wanted to be a football player in the first place.
Yeah.
To knock people backwards and knock them on their keisters.
Spoken like a true offensive lineman, right? On 2nd and 4, Hopkins near side with it. Got a man, puts it into the hands of Kel Walker, but nice job by the Eastern Michigan front again to force him up, but they picked up the first down though.
Didn't really even fake the dive there. So that was not really a triple option, because you could see the fullback right away was just blocking. So it was either Hopkins or it was Kel Walker. And Calhoun and the Eagles did a nice job of really spreading that thing out.
Vince Calhoun's played a lot of football for Eastern Michigan, junior out of Middletown, Ohio. Told us yesterday, did Neil Nethery, said, look, he's the key guy up high against this offense as they go right up the gut. Andy Davidson, one of those PA guys you pointed out to me yesterday.
They got a couple of Pennsylvania fullbacks. I love it. Davidson is from Emmaus High School in Allentown. Slumpka is from Pine Richland out in Pittsburgh. I'm from Reading, live in Harrisburg. Now, even their fullback coach, Mike Vidy's from Berwick.
Mike's a good man.
That's where you go for offensive linemen and fullbacks, by the way. You go to Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Get a little grit.
That's right. Old school football there, huh? High school. 5 different Black Knights have touched the ball on this drive. 2nd and 5 upcoming. Here they go. It's Asbury. Nice job left side of the defense there as they make the stop on Asbury. And it was McGill that came over and spun him down.
This is so well done by Kevin McGill, the junior corner, 6'2", 193, to be able to fight off number 5, Kel Walker's block and still make that tackle. That is not easy, especially, most guys are corners because of their coverage skills. But what can separate you sometimes is whether or not you're willing to be physical and play off blocks. That's an excellent job by McGill.
So here comes Ross, the 14th play of the drive. Eastern Michigan's red zone defense just a touch over 68%. And to the 10-yard line, the ball was taken there. So it's going to bring up 4th and short. Davidson on the carry again. You mentioned it, Ross. leading the country at 88% on fourth down conversions, 22 of 25. John Abercrombie's only kicked 2 field goals in his career, and Monken's rolling it. He's going for it.
This is what they do. They go for it. You got to get some stops. Slomka's their hammerhead.
Instead, it's Hopkins that kept it, and Calvin Hopkins has the first down. He's got it by nearly a full yard. Following that center, Bryce Holland.
Well, the thing is, Ben, the offensive line, they're so used to firing off low, and they're really shorter than a lot of the other Division I offensive lines out there. It's a lot of 6'2", 6'3" guys that are really athletic. You see them fire off. I love that they brought in Slomka, the hammer, just to push Hopkins forward like that from the fullback spot, number 25.
Well, his nickname is the Wexford Sledgehammer. To the outside, Asbury, who's seen a few touches on this drive. On first and goal there, forced out of bounds near the 7-yard line, is Jordan Asbury, who's got a lot of speed in his repertoire.
So far, Ben, this Army drive reminds me of every other Army drive ever. You know what I mean?
I do.
Although the one pass by Hopkins is a little different, but usually they get into third and fourth and shorts, and they convert. Down now here near the goal line, you always have to be aware of the fullback dive and Hopkins, even following the fullback sometimes.
Army's had the ball here for 9+ minutes. And they're bottled up there, up the gut, not much there. Good push by Eastern Michigan's front. And a minimal gain, if any, as they unfurl the bodies. It was Davidson in there again on the carry.
And that play right there gives them a shot. You know, making Army have to have third and goal from about the 7, 6.5. That gives Eastern Michigan a legitimate shot to get a stop here.
So this play upcoming will be the 18th play of the drive.
If Army throws the ball, they're probably kicking a field goal. If they run it, then they might get close enough for fourth down.
Eastern Michigan's only had the ball for 1:36. And they run it again, and Eastern Michigan does the job on Davidson.
That's huge.
It is huge.
That is a big stop because they didn't even let him get down near the goal line. And so Monken obviously won't go for it at the 6-yard line. He'll bring out Abercrombie. That is a huge win for the Eastern Michigan defense.
Big time. The stop was made by Max Crosby, their outstanding end. And here's Abercrombie, who last week kicked just his 2nd career field goal to tie the game in overtime. And a field goal's up and good. And Army's on top 3-0, so he's got 3 career field goals. Does Abercrombie now. Army on the road. A drive that lasted nearly 10 minutes, up 3-0.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. By Ram Trucks, built to serve. And by CDW, making IT solutions work for you. It's IT orchestration by CDW. CDW, people who get it.
So the Army equipment truck, it's driven by Mike Chisholm. Nick Detterman is the equipment manager, does all the road trip planning, and they haul 30,000 pounds of equipment inside of that thing. It is a beautiful looking rig, isn't it?
It really is. I took a video of that thing yesterday. It was so awesome.
So how about, you ready for the particulars on the drive, Russ?
Yes.
19 plays, 64 yards, 10 minutes and 28 seconds with a 24-yard field goal to cap it off by John Abercrombie.
Wow.
Fair catch is called for and made by Isaac Holder. And Eastern Michigan, they've had the ball for a grand total of 1:36. They ran 3 plays. They've got it when we come back. A 3-0 lead for Army on top after a drive that lasted 10.5 minutes. Make sure you join our Tops crew bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 Eastern as they get you ready for another jam-packed day of the NFL. Don't miss the unmatched analysis and bold predictions from our football experts on that other pregame show right here on CBS Sports Network. So Shaq Van, the running back in the backfield for Eastern Michigan with Tyler Wiegers. A 3-and-out forced by Army, and Eastern had it for 1:36. That's the problem. You give the ball to Army and they go 10 minutes or more. 19 plays, 64 yards, 10-28 movement here from Eastern Michigan. 5 wide. Wiegers gets rid of it in a hurry to Blake Banham. Banham got a knack for making tacklers miss. He is 3rd in the country in forcing the most missed tackles among wide receivers, and keys to the game, Ross Tucker.
Well, for Eastern Michigan, they got to make every possession count. They didn't on the first one going 3-and-out. They need to get some first downs and some points here on the second one. Meanwhile, for Army, you know what the Eastern Michigan's going to do. They're not going to try to run the ball down Army's throat. They're going to throw the ball with Wiegers. They got to get some pressure on him. He likes to get rid of it pretty quickly, but if you can get to him, you can rattle.
Well, imperative for Eastern Michigan here. They get some kind of drive put together here as Wiegers swings it out wide, and it's Arthur Jackson, and he goes nowhere. In fact, he goes backwards. James Gibson, Gibby Gibson, made the game-saving play last year at Michie Stadium against Ian Erickson, makes a big play there.
James Gibson, number 2, was so impressive to talk to yesterday. He's 6'1", 220 pounds, playing safety and an excellent open field tackler.
Handles the calls and their defensive sets from the back end. Big play here for Eastern Michigan. Wiegers has time, over the middle, fires, catch is made. They're short of the first down by a yard. Dylan Drummond on the grab to the 34-yard line. They'll need a yard to convert.
He had pretty good protection to start the play and through the crossing route, but Elijah Riley is a really nice player. He's only a junior, but their defensive coordinator, Jay Bateman, said he might be the best player on the football team. He's the boundary corner, so usually the guy that's man-to-man, and he made the play there.
Jake Julian on to punt, flag down. And for the first time today, we'll hear from our referee, Kurt Johnson. It's going to be against Eastern Michigan, it appears.
False start, offense. Not all 11 players were set for 1 second. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So there's the word from Kurt Johnson. So Army's defense here twice so far. The 2 possessions for Eastern Michigan has been very stout. Jake Julian on to punt. Career average 43.6. 4-time MAC West Special Teams Player of the Week is Julian, the product of Barrie, Ontario.
A lot of international flavor on this Eastern Michigan roster.
Julian gets it away. Riley, a 9-yard return last time, lets it go. Can they save it? And no! Matthew Sexton, who's always a hard-working player no matter where he's at on the field, tried to catch up to it but could not save it. In the final seconds of this opening quarter, Sexton nearly got it, but it hit his leg. Army's got the rock, leading 3-0 when we come back. Time now to take a look at our CDW iVision, Ross.
Well, I love watching Army on tape because of the splits. Sometimes you can tell where the ball's going. They'll widen out their splits a little bit. First one between the guard and center. This time the guard and tackle. Miami, I think, knew that that was where the ball was supposed to go. Nice job by Davidson bouncing it outside. You can't really see it as well from the sideline, but from behind, they really manipulate the defense with their splits to try to create additional space for where the ball's going. But just when you think you know what they're doing, they'll have dummy splits to throw you off their count.
What they do here in the final seconds of the opening quarter. Hopkins with it. There's the pitch. Not much there. Good job to get over on Kel Walker pretty quick, although he managed to pick up about 3 yards on the run. He was forced out of bounds by one of the great names in college football, Kyle Rockwall.
Are you kidding me? I mean, a linebacker, and his last name's Rockwall. And by the way, he plays for Eastern Michigan, where you have to smash a wall to get out onto the field.
And he's got almost 300
That's
tackles in his
of the
career.
first quarter.
Good looking look at him there. End of the first quarter with the score. Army 3, Eastern Michigan nothing. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by the Home Depot. Back here in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Time now to take a look at our QB comparison, brought to us today by Sonic. The two guys the last 2 weeks for Army that have played, Ross.
They have. Cam Thomas did a really nice job in his first start a week ago to help them get the win, rushing for 137 yards. But Hopkins, we talked about it earlier, his passing has really helped this offense. He got that key third down conversion on their first drive.
He did on the pass to Quentin Parker. Army going back to work now. Hopkins right up the gut. Darnell Woolfolk breaking through there across the 35-yard line before he's tripped up, but not before a 12-yard run for Darnell. 30 career touchdowns. He is a beast to stop.
If you can't stop the fullback, it's going to be a long day. Just a little inside dive there to Woolfolk. He is so powerfully built at 5'9", 235 pounds. He's coming at you.
And the touchdown that ended up being the game-winning touchdown last week in the victory over Miami. Third MAC team that Army has faced this season. And they beat Buffalo. Only loss Buffalo has. They went up to Buffalo and put it to them. And, of course, last week against Miami, the one-point win. 31-30, gain of 4 on the last play. Peyton
Officials timeout
Reeder,
for an injured player.
the Army guard they're tending to. We'll take him off and give him a look, but walking off under his own power, that's always a good sign.
He was definitely slow to get up. And he's unique in that he's 6'6", 290 at right guard. You usually don't see offensive linemen that tall for Army, especially inside at the guard position.
From Rome, Georgia, his offensive coordinator Brent Davis has told us he's from back in the holler down in Rome, Georgia. Second down and 6. Davidson able to get the first down, a pickup of 7. So Davidson seeing a lot of touches here with that fullback stable full of fullbacks.
Speaking of Georgia,
What do you got?
the replacement for Reeder, number 67, Dean Powell, he's a freshman from Buford, Georgia, in there at right guard right now. You don't see that very often for Army. A freshman playing along the offensive line. We mentioned how unique it is that Bryce Holland's a 4-year starter. Now they got a freshman that they really like, Dean Powell, at right guard. 6'1", 285, more the body type you think of for an Army offensive lineman.
Hopkins gave it off to Davidson there. Pickup of a couple. On first down at 10.
One of the things, Ben, I think helps Eastern Michigan in this game is they played Army last year.
Yeah.
So they have a lot more familiarity. Even Kelvin Hopkins, the Army quarterback, said they've got 8 or 9 guys
Offside
back.
defense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Costly one there on Eastern Michigan.
Ty Eddington, the big junior, 6'3", 352. If he's offsides, you're going to notice it at 352.
Hard to miss, yes.
Although I didn't see the flag on the ground. It's kind of tough with the gray field. I got some people tweeting me, asking me if they need to get a new TV. No, you don't need to get a new TV.
No.
The turf really is gray.
It's the factory. It's that factory look, that hard-working Metro Detroit, Southeastern Michigan look. Darnell Woolfolk's the fullback. Hopkins, late pitch, heavy shot out there on the side. As Kel Walker got it, Hopkins took one heck of a shot right after that pitch to Kel Walker as we look back.
What a hit, you're right.
Calderon.
Yep, that was Calderon on Hopkins. And I can remember going back to my outside linebacker defensive end days in high school. Ben, that's what you were taught.
Yeah.
You know, they're optioning off of you. I was taught to blow up the quarterback and hit him as hard as I possibly could.
Mikey Calderon did it right there. Not much happening there. As we'll look back, Slumka with a carry there and take a peek back. Mikey Calderon's hit there on Hopkins.
And it looked like it was his left shoulder to Hopkins' chest. You know, he's a runner, so he's no longer defenseless, but you still can't lead with the top of your head. That looked like a good, legal, clean hit by Calderon.
I agree with you. 3rd down and 3 upcoming.
This is where West Point's really at their best. They
Really
have two downs to get 3 yards. You almost never stop them here.
Hopkins keeps it, and a good play from the backside. Ty Eddington, who's been all over the joint here, doing what he can, comes up and forces the 4th down play, Ross.
How about how well he moved down the line at 352 pounds?
Yeah.
Able to get off the block of the freshman there that we just talked about, Powell. You wonder if Powell was a little bit late to his block or had a missed assignment, but Eddington able to get down the line and tackle the quarterback. He's 352 pounds. Wow.
Opponents on 4th down, 6 of 18 against Eastern Michigan. They need 3 to Army. Woolfolk, the fullback. Hopkins, though, steps back, wants to throw it. Hopkins taking a shot downfield, got a man, catch is made, there's a flag down, and the ball came out. There's a flag at the 39-yard line. So we've got a lot to dissect here.
And they're saying he caught it and the ground caused the fumble. Okay. So they're saying the ball's at the 7-yard line. What a throw by Hopkins.
Christian Hayes with the catch.
Holding defense, number 3. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
So Vince Calhoun was guilty of the hold against Kel Walker. Ross Williams made the stop, and as you said, Hayes, they give him the catch.
He averages almost 30 yards a catch. That ball looks like it's in there and then ripped out at the end by Williams. I think that's a good call.
34-yard pickup. Hayes now 3 grabs for 87 yards and a touchdown. My good friend and former Army wide receiver Jeff Ejeckham, I'm sure, likes those numbers.
And when we talk about how good they are on 4th down, that's not what we're talking about, throwing deep posts for 30-plus yards.
Darnell Woolfolk, he's the fullback. Hopkins, though, keeps it. Got to go behind the guard on the right side there, and good job by the Eagle front to limit the gain there on 1st and goal for Army.
Good news, too, for the Black Knights that Peyton Reeder, number 76, the sophomore right guard, is back in the game. So they've got their experienced guard and their entire unit back in there. And they need to convert here. Last week, they came up 6 inches short of a touchdown on 4th down against Miami. We mentioned that as one of our keys. They already were held to a field goal earlier this half.
19 plays on their first possession. This will be the 10th play, and it is the 10th play. Woolfolk break out, and they're trying to get to the outside, and he can't! Hoying got to him. Brody Hoying, who's just a ball player, makes a great play there, Ross, bringing up 3rd and goal.
Well, Woolfolk got bunched up in the backfield, Kel Walker and Jeremiah Harris, so he bounced outside. That is not Woolfolk's strength. He is not an east and west runner, and he's not going to be able to beat you around the edge, especially a guy like Hoying, who at 5'11", 203 is really kind of a hybrid safety linebacker.
How about that statistic there for Eastern Michigan's red zone defense. Now Hopkins looking to put it up again, too high off the target. He was looking in the direction of Andy Davidson. So Eastern Michigan brings up 4th and goal. They're going to trot on the field goal group again. So that's 2 wins for Eastern Michigan, right?
And I'm a little surprised that Army tried to throw it there. Usually on 3rd down, they're going to try to get closer and give them a chance to run it in on 4th down. You have your running back, your slot back, trying to block Jeremiah Harris. That's just not going to work. I mean, Jordan Asbury's not going to be able to make that block. Made it really tough for the 5'10" Hopkins.
So Abercrombie, who hit from 24, from 22 here, is good. So it's Abercrombie 6, Eastern Michigan, nothing here so far in the ballgame.
This was the play of the drive, a deep bomb for Army to get them inside the 10, but Eastern Michigan holds them to a field goal again. We got a ball game in Ypsi.
Great to have you with us alongside Ross Tucker. My name is Ben Holden. All of our crew here in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Army on top 6-0. Couple of field goals from John Abercrombie. And those numbers, not that surprising. What's your take, though, so far on the game?
It's still only 6-0. Eastern Michigan is one play away from having the lead right now. They've given up a lot of yardage, but they've only given up 6 points. They have stiffened in the red area, which has been one of their strengths all year. I mean, they're not a very good run defense. They give up a bunch of yards, but they are very opportunistic, especially down in their own area.
Landon Salyers has it teed up there at the 35-yard line and puts the foot into it. Fair catch called for the 2-yard line.
I don't really understand this. I'm a little surprised they keep calling for fair catch every time when they're catching the ball.
Well, they do. Last year's meeting between these two teams. So Eastern Michigan with Brogan Roback. There's Chris Creighton in the spot shadow before the play called a timeout. Then they run this, going for the win. One of the great moments in the history of Michie Stadium as Gibby Gibson stopped Ian Erickson. I'll never forget that one. Jeff Bunkin over a bench pressed a chair. It was just mayhem.
That is incredible. I mean, he flipped through the air, landed on his head at about the 6-inch line. That was one of many heartbreaking losses for the Eagles last year.
Yeah, Willie Parker now in the game at running back, but Uyghur's going to the air, tipped, and tipped away. They were looking for Blake Bantam there. Their top receiver, Cameron Jones, on the coverage.
Nice job there by Jeremiah Lowry.
Yes, it was.
Sophomore linebacker from Alabama got back in his drop, got a hand on it. Look at all the close games Army's been in, too. Both these teams are no stranger to overtimes, double overtimes, one-score games. It'd almost be a shock if that's not how it ends up.
Totally. Army's been on the winning side of more. Eastern Michigan's got the same kind of history. So many close games, and they had a big victory against Toledo a few weeks ago here at home. Got up early as Parker carries for a yard there.
It almost feels like a waste of time for Eastern Michigan to try to run the ball. The Army is so good against the run, and their defensive coordinator, Jay Bateman, told us yesterday that's what he feels best about. Because think about it, they practice against their own offense last time.
Yep.
All spring, all summer, he said, you run against the Veer every day in practice, you are going to be a hardened son of a gun.
3rd and 8, Eastern Michigan 0 for 2 on 3rd down. They need to put a drive together. Uyghurs, and they get to him. Army gets in there and gets after him. Captain America, they call him. Your guy, Cole Christensen, the junior captain, gets him.
I have a man crush on Cole Christensen. Watching him on tape last week, he's incredible. It's a delayed blitz. Eastern Michigan wasn't ready for it. Terrific design from Bateman. Nautical got in there as well, making the back miss in the backfield. But it's unbelievable. Talking with Christensen on the field before the game, he looks like he's straight out of Central Casting to be a West Point linebacker. I mean, the jaw, the hair.
Yep. They almost got that punt. As Julian boots it away, 21 tackles in his last couple of games. Had 13 last week in that thriller, that 2 overtime win over Miami. 6-0 Army with the lead here midway through quarter 2 in Ypsilanti. It's now time for Do Project Smarter, brought to us today by the Home Depot. Then again, maybe it's not. We'll get to that momentarily. Back here at Rynearson Stadium in Ypsilanti, Michigan. 6-0 lead for the Black Knights of Army, trying for their 6th win of the season. Make them bowl eligible. Of course, had a 10-win season last year, their best since '96. Won the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. Did all kinds of special things last year. And I told you we'd get to it. Here's our Do Project Smarter, brought to us today by the Home Depot, Ross.
Well, this is how Jay Bateman does things smarter, the defensive coordinator for the Black Knights. You see Cole Christensen, he will drop back and act like he's leaving and then come. It doesn't look like much, but that one backward step, because as you're an offensive lineman, the left guard there, Jeremy Hickey, you're looking at the guy, okay, he's not coming, and you engage with the defensive lineman. You don't think he's going to still come after a slight hesitation. Terrific design by Jay Bateman.
Army going to work here. They toss it, goes nowhere. Best starting field position for Army. And as Jordan Asbury going backwards as we take a look back. It's a loss of 2.
Terrific job so far by Eastern Michigan stringing this stuff out. Jeremiah Harris, we featured him before the game in the starting lineups, and he does a nice job getting Reeder off his body. You know, these defensive ends for Eastern Michigan, Ben, both have such great length that they use their arms to keep the Army offensive linemen off their legs and off their bodies, and then get down the line of scrimmage to make that play.
Crosby and Harris, 2 guys that really had very good careers. Army charging forward, and they get some of that back. They actually lost 4 on that previous play, gain of 6 here to make it a little bit more manageable coming up on 3rd down on the run by Andy Davidson. 3rd and 8, but better than what it was.
Right, but that's still a problem because they're not designed for 3rd and 8.
They're not.
Neil Nethery, the D coordinator for Eastern Michigan, said if we can get them into 3rd and 6 or more, we got a shot.
That's the goal for anyone that plays them, but doing it, a different story. And a whistle to stop things, and a timeout taken by Eastern Michigan.
Timeout. Eastern Michigan. They're first. This will be a full
Take one
media
with them
timeout.
too. Big play coming up when we come back here in the 2nd quarter.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Phillips 66. Proud to be here. By Bud Light, reminding you not to drink and ride your horse. By Sonic's Car Hop Classic. Get a quarter-pound double cheeseburger or a Slinger plus tots for just $2.99. And by Humana.
Some renderings of the new structure in the northwest corner of Rynearson Stadium. There's a live look at the construction. $20 million the cost. It will be home to many of their athletic programs. The football locker room will be in there. The weight room will be in there. Chris Creighton told us yesterday, first building they built here at Eastern Michigan since 1998. And a lot has to do with the job he's done coming in 5 years. It wasn't many years ago. There was talk of this program not being an FBS program anymore.
He has done a terrific job. Here comes the reverse.
It is. There they go. And it's Hancock taking it. And inside of Eastern Michigan territory, still going. Huge pickup there. Excellent pickup there. Beautiful pickup.
And they just totally fooled him there. Jeremiah Harris, number 90, is the backside defensive end. He did not see Hancock coming around. Nobody did for Eastern Michigan. Terrific changeup and play call by Brent Davis, the Army offensive coordinator. They needed something like that to get this offense going.
30-yard pickup for Malik Hancock, the junior out of Florida. Hopkins into the breadbasket of Darnell Woolfolk, and Woolfolk appears to have the first down inside of the 20, and does. So Darnell Woolfolk picks it up with 5:06 to play until halftime.
Inside trap play, and Woolfolk is so powerful that if you're not able to put a shoulder into him, he's going to rip right through those arm tackles. And that's the thing. The way these Army offensive linemen fire off the ball and get into your body, it's hard to have anything more than an arm to reach out there at times. And these fullbacks, they'll rip your arm off.
Yeah, they will. 10th first down of the game for Army. Eastern Michigan without a first down yet. Good job here by Eastern Michigan Andy Davidson going nowhere. Ty Eddington leading the charge. And this has been the area where Army's been stymied twice now by Eastern Michigan's defense.
Eddington has been the best player on the field today. There's no question. I mean, Jackson Deaton, the left guard for Army, just cannot move him. He's 6'3", 352 pounds from Bakersfield, California, and they just cannot move him. He's fighting pressure with pressure. Where they're trying to take you, you stop, and he pushed him right back into the fullback.
Army's been in the red zone twice, but they've been limited, as I touched on a moment ago, to field goals. They get to the outside. It was Davidson. And Andy Davidson takes it inside of the 15-yard line. It'll bring up third down. Clay Holford, who's been very active as well. There's Rockwall, who was involved in a play as well, number 51.
Rockwall reminds me, the name at least. Remember Michael Stonebreaker for Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
Stonebreaker, Rockwall. You should be able to change your last name if you're a linebacker to something like that.
Product of Lapeer, Michigan, probably about an hour or so north of here. Came into the game with 291 career tackles. Big third down play here. Darnell Woolfolk behind Calvin Hopkins. Hopkins keeps it down to the 10-yard line. So you're going to have 4th and goal coming up again. Does Monken go for it here, or does he kick here?
I would kick, because I think it's very valuable to get a 3-score lead. I would kick. You're not running the ball as well as you normally do. You don't want to take a chance with a field goal, and your kicker's doing a nice job to get a third field goal up there. The way your defense is playing, a 2-score lead has to make you feel pretty good at this point.
Yeah, I stand corrected. 4th and 3, so they bring on Abercrombie, trying for his third of the day. Good from 24 and 22, and John Abercrombie comes on and sticks another one. So 9-0 Army, thanks to the foot of Abercrombie, with a big day so far. 2:25 to play in the second. Eastern's got it when we come back. 9-0 lead for Army on the road here in Ypsilanti, Michigan. 3 field goals by John Abercrombie. The story has been Eastern Michigan and their defense inside of the red zone. And I mean, this is no surprise. It's what Army does when they're working well. Today, though, they're not cashing in on touchdowns to this point.
Right, that's a surprise. And Eastern Michigan not able to get 1 first down. I mean, if they don't get a first down on this next series, they're going to go the whole first half without getting 1 first down, putting way too much pressure on their defense.
And Army's first 3 possessions, 10-28, 6-43, and 4-40. A 19-play drive.
It's amazing to have drives like that and not get any touchdowns. You know what I mean? 3 drives like that and no touchdown.
I mean, Eastern might not run 19 plays in the half.
At this rate, they might not run 19 plays in the whole game.
Hey, Army will play Air Force next Saturday. That game might be over in 2 hours and 5 minutes.
I don't understand these fair catches.
Yeah.
You know, he's catching the ball between the 5 and 10.
Yeah. Holder there that said, I'm going to fair catch it tomorrow. CBS's Super Bowl season continues. Regional action, AFC West showdown, Denver and Kansas City, the Jets in Chicago. And then it's Cleveland and Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Carolina, or Indy takes on Oakland. Check your local listings for the game in your area. And kick off your day with the NFL Today, powered by Ram Trucks at 12 Eastern. Speaking of Cleveland, of course, Brogan Roback, who played here, was made very famous on the Hard Knocks show with the Browns, but they have a lot of things in common, the Browns and the Eagles, in terms of close games and overtime games. As Wiegers comes out throwing, and he goes to Gunnar Oaks, makes the grab. Redshirt freshman out of Swanton, Ohio. Outstanding all-around athlete, 4-sport athlete. So big possession here, Ross, for Eastern Michigan. They got 2 timeouts and plenty of time left.
And they're going with the no huddle, and I like it. They're trying to change up the tempo a little bit. And there's a late flag that comes in. Something involving Kajan Armstrong and Raymond Wright at the end of the play. The left tackle for Eastern Michigan and the defensive tackle for Army.
Arthur Jackson made the catch. If it stands, we'll await the verdict from Kurt Johnson, our referee today.
The flag was thrown right where those guys had an altercation late in the down.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 74. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Well, he pointed.
I think he
Correction,
meant offense.
offense.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve Nielsen, 74 is who he was talking about, right?
And I think he meant 54. John Armstrong.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was Nielsen.
Oh, right
it
there,
was
yeah.
Nielsen
Yeah.
came back and peeled back on him.
Yep, it was.
That's an unnecessary block. The definition of unnecessary roughness. I just saw right at the tail end of the play go into Armstrong. Nielsen's an interesting story. The offensive coordinator, Aaron Keene, told us he doesn't think he'd even be at Eastern Michigan if he wasn't from the Netherlands. Came over for a couple of camps. They saw him at the Ohio State and Michigan State camp. They were able to get him to come here to Ypsilanti, but he thinks he is really good and really talented. But he just did a really silly thing that has put his team at a significant disadvantage for the rest of the series. You just can't do that. That's what happens when you get frustrated sometimes.
Yeah, 6'8", 320 pounds is Nielsen. Third penalty of the day on Eastern Michigan. And a man was open, and he could not find Arthur Jackson, as Wiegers had all kinds of opportunity to put that ball in there on 2nd and 22 and could not.
Army does not have a great straight rush, so if they only rush 3 like that, he's going to have some time. Wright got in there a little bit late, but Wiegers just errant with the throw. I mean, Arthur Jackson sits down. Maybe Wiegers thought he would sit down against the zone a little bit more.
So 3rd and 22 now.
Usually a screen or a draw play here.
There it is, the handoff, and not much doing there. So Army's got all 3 timeouts, and they take one now with 2 left.
Timeout, Army. They're first. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So minute 45 until halftime, and well, we got an opportunity. Speaking of halftime, coming up on the halftime report, powered by Ram Trucks. Our good friends Adam Zucker, Brian Jones, and Houston Nutt will get you ready for a busy day of college football in our New York studios. So Army's got it. Up 9-0. 3 trips to the red zone, but they've been held to 3 field goals.
This is an interesting situation on the punt. 4th and 16. Army doesn't have a very good 2-minute offense, so this would be a very opportune time to go for a block punt. Even if you run into the punter, it's still not a first down, Ben. So if you've got a good block punt, you like, I see Davidson and some of the starters out there, but they're not going to go for it.
And bring the heat like they do oftentimes. Bouncing ball, and Elijah Riley smartly gets away from it. Matthew Sexton, who's all over on special teams, able to down that football there with a minute 35 remaining until halftime. We'll take a timeout. Army will have it. 2 timeouts left on top, 9-0. We'll see what they do when we come back to Ypsilanti. So if you're Eastern Michigan, Ross Tucker, the bad news is you're down 9-0, but the good news is you're only down 9-0, right?
Exactly.
And then here's a shot. Our camera crew, I'm confused. I mean, who do you look at here?
Well, you know which guy you're supposed to look at. What I think is more interesting than that is I think the other guys just make stuff up. The one guy's making it rain over there. Right? I mean, I think that they're able to just make up whatever signals they want. So I haven't seen any 2-minute offense on tape here. Ben, have you? You do all the Army games.
I've seen it once, and it was last year against Temple when Calvin Hopkins came in.
For Bradshaw, they brought him in for Bradshaw.
He was the better thrower, and on that drive against Temple, he was 5 of 12 through his first career touchdown pass and had 67 yards on the drive.
You know, last week they really didn't throw it late, and the offensive coordinator, Brent Davis, thought they got a little conservative. They're going to an unbalanced line here to the right. 3 offensive linemen to the right of the quarterback.
Minute 5 to go, 2 timeouts for Army. There's the pitch to the outside, Asbury. Jordan Asbury's played well here so far today. Forced out of bounds, but an Army first down. That's their 11th first down of the day. Eastern Michigan, a goose egg in that department.
And if you're Eastern Michigan, you don't want to give up any yards, but you definitely don't want to give up yards to the pitch man to be able to get first down and get out of bounds like that.
On Abercrombie, what he's done today, he's been their offense in terms of points. Kelvin Hopkins kept it there, and Eastern Michigan really fighting.
You know, Hopkins could have bounced that outside, I think, for the first down. Hopkins tried to cut that back inside. I think he had more room to the outside.
Army, they're second. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Army's got one left. They'll talk it over. We'll come back. 44 to go until halftime. 5-2 Army, 4-4 Eastern Michigan. 9-0 our score with 44 seconds to play until halftime. What do you put your OC hat on? What do you do here?
I like a play action pass here on second down. You know, they've done a nice job throwing the ball deep throughout the year. You know, no matter which receiver it is, Harrison or Hayes, they've got some guys that can go get it.
And Hopkins dropping back. Hopkins putting it out there and overthrows the intended target. It was Cam Harrison. And there is a penalty flag in the backfield down at the 49-yard line.
There's a couple of them.
There are.
It was right where Hopkins threw the football, which usually means roughing the passer or a holding penalty.
There's a look.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 90, 15-yard penalty, includes automatic first down.
That's a veteran guy in Jeremiah Harris, a fifth-year senior, taking that shot there. 5th penalty on Eastern Michigan today so far.
Well, and both officials threw it.
Yeah.
So even if you think, I don't know about that one, they both threw it. They both felt like it was unnecessary roughness, and that is the second costly penalty for the Eagles. Really the second penalty where it's a lack of control. We had the right tackle who got it on the last drive when they were just about to get their first down, Steve Nielsen.
Yeah. And
now Harris. You just can't have that.
So Army's got a timeout in its pocket. 38 seconds to play in the half. And they got a fresh set of downs now. Hopkins. He's going to keep it. Good little fake there. And he still got it. Flag comes in from the back. He's got the first down, depending on the penalty. And out of your picture, back at the 23-yard line. His body's all over the place. Pickett's down, grabbing his right leg, it looks like. And out of your picture, there's another Eastern Michigan player down about the 23-yard line.
And there's a flag.
Yes, and there's a penalty flag. A lot going on. So,
oh, you can just see Pickett.
Yes.
Number 6. That is not the way your leg is supposed to bend at the tail end of that play.
Number 51, face mask. Half the distance to the goal line, includes automatic first down.
So that penalty on Kyle Rockwall. And a big one it is.
I didn't see a face mask at first glance. I was looking more at Jalen Pickett for the injury, but I didn't notice a face mask. They called on 51 Rockwall.
Oh, yeah, he's not even close.
He's got around the arm.
That is a bad call.
Wait, keep watching, keep watching. Maybe at the tail end of that?
I don't know.
I don't know, and now another flag just went down.
Jeez.
They just threw another flag. This is getting out of control.
It really is, and they're one of their will linebackers, Jalen Pickett, a good-looking senior, saw him being helped off. There's Rockwall, who they called the face mask penalty on, but here's Kurt Johnson.
There are 2 dead ball fouls, unsportsmanlike conduct. Eastern Michigan head coach, half distance to the goal line. That's his first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of this game. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Eastern Michigan, number 51, half distance to the goal line, first down.
Wow. Huge penalties called as Chris Creighton certainly was fighting for his guys. And they're...
Well, I don't blame them because I didn't see.
I'm with you.
I didn't see the
Correction.
penalty either.
The unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the coaching staff was against the assistant head coach. First down.
Well, at any rate, that is now 4 lack of discipline penalties. 5 really if you count the phantom face mask, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to count the phantom face mask. And now look where Army is. I
Yes.
mean, those 3 penalties are going to enable the Black Knights to get a significant lead here.
Andy Davidson behind Hopkins. Hopkins, there's the pitch. Sidestepping a tackler and taking it in for the touchdown is Jordan Asbury. Takes it in for the Army touchdown. He made Calhoun miss on the play. And Army strikes for the first time with a touchdown today, leading 15-0, a 4-yard run.
A lot of Eastern Michigan defenders were over the fullback. Asbury makes Calhoun miss. That is Calhoun's play. And as the safety, you got to make that play inside out. Calhoun got too wide. It enabled Asbury to put his right foot in the ground, get back up inside, and get a gigantic touchdown for the Black Knights here at the end of the first half. That's huge.
It really is, as Abercrombie comes on and tacks on the point after. And that capped a 5-play, 62-yard drive. Took 1:17. And a lot of that had to do with the penalties called on Eastern Michigan. Gave him great field position for the Black Knight offense.
Plus, Calhoun comes out too far. You want to come inside out and use the out-of-bounds line as an extra defender, but if you come too far outside like that, that's your responsibility. You want to try to be on the back hip. Number 3 for Eastern Michigan wants to stay on the back hip of Asbury, number 3 for West Point. Let's also give Asbury a lot of credit there. I mean, Calhoun, that's tough in the open space, and Asbury, one of the real athletic slot backs they have. He and Kel Walker both can really scoop.
5 plays, 62 yards, 1:17. First rushing touchdown for Asbury and going on 2 years.
And what that doesn't show, Ben, was 3 costly penalties.
Yes.
Actually 4.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Harris roughing the passer.
Yep.
The face mask that we still haven't really seen. The assistant head coach that got the penalty, probably because he was upset because there was no face mask. And Rockwall, who was probably really, really upset because he didn't actually grab the face mask.
No, he didn't. Army will take it. Eastern Michigan still without a first down in this game. 18 seconds to play in the half. Salyers boots it away. This one into the end zone and out the back of it. Eastern Michigan will have the ball. 2 timeouts and 18 seconds remaining in the half. Battle for the Commander-in-Chief's trophy comes to a head next week when the Falcons of Air Force fly to West Point to battle the Black Knights of Army Saturday at noon Eastern. Join us for the kickoff on CBS Sports Network. Air Force already 1-0 in the round robin. They crushed Navy 35-7. So the Commander-in-Chief's trophy will, in essence, be on the line. If Air Force were to win the game, they'd win it. If Army wins the game, it wouldn't matter what happened against Navy. They'd retain it. So Eastern Michigan is going to run the clock out here. Shaq Van. I'd say he's been quiet, but their offense has been quiet. They've done nothing offensively.
13 plays in an entire half of college football. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. 13 plays in the entire half. That's incredible.
Army outpossessing them, and more importantly, most importantly for Army, outscoring them 16-0. Last half without a first down.
First half.
Came back in 2014 at Michigan State. We've reached halftime. End of the first half. Army leads at 16-0. Great to have you with us here on this Saturday afternoon. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network. 16-0. Army on top here on the road against Eastern Michigan. These two teams played a classic last year, but so far it's been Army with all the offense. Welcome upstairs to our office for the day alongside Ross Tucker. My name is Ben Holden. Great to have you with us. Let's get your thoughts on that first half.
Well, really, Army controlled the football. We know that they would, but they had a couple passes that actually helped them as well, and they really were not able to punch it in for a touchdown until the end, but they still dominated the first half.
Those are our first half numbers you saw there, brought to us by Humana, and we look back at some of the moving pictures and key plays specifically on the last drive from Army.
Well, and it started with Jordan Asbury with the pitch man on the edge to get out of bounds. Then there was the roughing the passer penalty, the phantom face mask right there that led to a couple of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and Asbury finished what he started with the lone touchdown of the first half.
And Eastern Michigan unable to convert a first down in the first half of this game. That hasn't happened for them since 2014 when they played at Michigan State. And they have got to find a way to get something going offensively. How do they do it in your mind?
And I think it even starts before they get something going offensively.
Really?
Well, when you're down 16-0 and you haven't gotten a first down yet,
yeah,
and you're playing Army and their ball possession offense, I think they need to onside kick it here. I don't know if they will.
I like
but
that.
If I'm Chris Creighton, the Eastern Michigan coach, I am onside kicking here. They have to find a way to steal a possession. How else are they going to come back in this game?
It's a very valid point. And they've got it teed up. Let's see what they opt to do. Kel Walker there, number 5, one of those back deep for Army. Chad Ryland's got it teed up at the 35. Great to have you with us with Ross Tucker. My name is Ben Holden, all of our outstanding, hard-working crew. And Army, no return on this. They've returned very few, less than a handful this season. It goes into the end zone. No onside kick.
Well, they didn't ask me, unfortunately, because I would have onside kicked it. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, here's the look at Army and what they did in the first, 10.5 minutes to start the game. Are you kidding me? 19 plays?
Right, and that's my point right there, Ben. They haven't stopped them yet. I mean, they've stopped them to 3 field goals.
Right.
But they haven't really stopped them yet. So based on what we've seen so far in this game, they're going to possess the ball for a while here, and they're going to get some points that puts them up by 3 scores. That's why I would have kicked an onside kick right there.
Army in the third quarter, 66-27, outscoring their opposition. Hopkins in trouble. And they'll get him for about a yard loss is where they're going to spot him. Kyle Rockwall closing in on 300 career tackles. Is Rockwall entered the game with 129 solos and 291 overall.
And our guy number 77, Eddington, was in there again, as was Crosby, number 92. Rockwall, though, able to finish him off.
71 tackles a season ago for Kyle Rockwall to lead Eastern Michigan squad. On the ground they go, and pushing forward is Jordan Asbury off the right side. Pickup of 8 on the run, so it brings up third down and manageable. 2-down territory for him here, no question.
This is usually, this is where Army a lot of times lives. 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. A lot of times they'll get 2 or 3 yards here with a fullback dive and then go for it on 4th down.
They're okay with that. It's right into their MO. Up the gut. Eastern, no, they're very stout. Darnell Woolfolk might have lost a little bit. It's going to bring up 4th down, and good work on the front by LaBarbera there.
Well, what did I just say? I said 3rd and 4. A lot of times they'll come with the fullback dive for 2 and 3. Eastern Michigan knew it was coming. Eastern Michigan was all over it, and Army's going to punt. So after not getting 1 stop on downs in the first half, Eastern Michigan comes out and gets a big 3 and out.
Schrag on to punt, averaging a touch over 47. He lost it and tries to get it away. And it'll bounce and be touched dead by Army at their 45-yard line. So the Eagles come out and get after it. Big stop, and then a great job getting in there on Schrag as he bobbled the snap there. Went right through his hands.
Yeah, the ball is wet, and they practice in it all the time, but the ball's wet, and then Crosby absolutely crushes him as he punts it.
So Eastern Michigan with the ball on Army's side of the field, their best field position by 29 yards. They had 5 possessions in the first half, all started at their own 25. Blake Banham, the top wide receiver, multi-talented young man is Banham. The running back, they threw to him a lot and they moved him out there this year. He's got to come out now. He lost his helmet there.
He had a couple games
Number
where he
2,
had
Eastern Michigan must
over
leave the
100
game
yards
because his
rushing.
helmet came off.
Senior out of St. Paul, Minnesota.
When he was elected captain, he was essentially still a third-string running back.
Yeah.
You know, they then moved him to wide receiver, but it says a lot about how this team feels about him.
Tyler Wiegers from the gun. Down the seam, and the catch is made. It's reeled in nicely by Line Latu, product of San Mateo, California, and the Eagles are in the red zone.
What a start to this second half by Eastern Michigan. Wiegers finds Latu just running down the seam. He has to contort his body a little bit to make the catch, and Eastern Michigan's in the red zone.
That is their first down of the day. A 25-yard pickup on the pitch and catch. Wiegers looking left again, and that one just flat out dropped. It should have been caught by Breck Turner, and he couldn't come up with a catch.
But even that one, Ben, was still behind him. I mean, it's just not a good throw. It's an out route, and Wiegers is throwing it behind Turner. You got to throw that in front of him, let him catch the ball, and then run with it, not have to turn his body all the way around. Wiegers has not been as accurate today as he has been throughout this season.
Brings up 2nd and 10. Eagles trying to get into the end zone or get some type of points here to get on the scoreboard after a first half they like to forget about, or as they say around here, flush it. And another pass complete, and it's Gunnar Oaks coming up with another grab. First down, Eastern Michigan, 1st and goal.
Oaks is a heck of an athlete at the tight end position, and that time it was a good throw by Wiegers. Still probably a little bit behind him.
They go quick. They keep it on the ground, and Raymond Wright was right in the backfield as Breck Turner got buried. Raymond Wright, a ball player up front.
Wright is one of the leaders of this defense. 285 pounds. He busts right up inside and just ate him up. That's a huge play for Army.
Eastern Michigan, their particulars in the red zone. 60.6%. Here they go. A little sweep coming around the near side. Head down and taking it in. Sexton. Touchdown, Eastern Michigan. Matthew Sexton gives Eastern Michigan their first points of the day. It's 16-6. And it looks like, Ross, they're going for 2.
And that counts as a touchdown pass for Wiegers. Look at the power at the end of that play.
Officials timeout for an injured
Sexton.
player.
He just ran right through Elijah Riley.
Homecoming here at Eastern Michigan. And that is the tight end, Gunnar Oaks. They are tending to him.
He was on the backside of the play. You know, they ran that. It's essentially a speed sweep. I don't know why they do that little lateral now, maybe to get the quarterbacks more passing yards. They used to just hand that off back in my day.
Right.
I don't know. Now they do like this little
Well,
shovel
you're not that
thing.
old.
I know, but they do this little shovel thing. And Sexton showing some power. You know, wide receivers lift weights too.
Yep.
He's only 5'11", $175. He used every ounce of it.
He's a hard-working player from Clinton, Michigan. 3 grabs for 18 yards last week. Victory over Ball State. And Oaks being tended off to be checked out on the sideline. And they've got the offensive group on here to go for 2 to try to make it a 1-score game here, and a 2-point conversion would be needed to tie it up here, Ross. You like it?
I like this decision because of the way Army possesses the football. You can't assume you have enough time to get 2 more scoring possessions. This is the right call.
Here's Wiegers. There goes Banham. Now they toss it. They're going to throw it back to Wiegers. I love the play call. Isaac Holder, who's got a background in throwing the ball. Short-range touch there. And they get the 2. That's one of the best 2-point conversions I've seen in a long time.
Well, you know what we call that where I'm from? We call that the Philly special right there. It started with the touchdown to Sexton, running over West Point to get into the goal line, lowering the head, and then the 2-point conversion, just like we saw in the Super Bowl to Nick Foles, except it's a different Eagles today.
Well, Chris Creighton's team, they came out in this second half. They stopped Army. They get the ball. They get a touchdown and a well-executed trick play on a 2-point conversion. Wiegers on the receiving end of the 2-point conversion, their quarterback, and now it's a one-possession game, 16-8.
And by the way, if you've been paying attention to any of the analytics, they will tell you that's the right decision to go for 2 there in that situation. That's been the subject of a lot of conversation in the NFL as of late. You know, if it's a really high-scoring game and you think you'll get the ball a lot,
Yeah.
you don't need to chase the points this early. That's not the case against Army.
Army will have it from the 25-yard line. Kel Walker in the end zone with 11:20 to play in the third quarter. And we got a chance. Want to let you know tomorrow at noon Eastern, CBS Sports Network is live from California at the Mazda Raceway. Laguna Seca as drivers from all over the world fire up their engines for the Intercontinental GT Challenge. Only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. And AP Top 10 brought to us by Ram. Your thoughts on that, Ross?
Well, look at the big game is Georgia, Florida, 3:30 on CBS. Always an unbelievable game. I got to get to one of those. I've been in the Army-Navy game the last couple of years. I'll be there this year. I got to get to a Georgia-Florida game in Jacksonville someday.
Good stuff. And Notre Dame facing Navy tonight as well. Andy Davidson on the first down run for Army. You had a first half that saw them get 3 field goals and a touchdown. This game could be a lot different had they cashed in, but Eastern's defense, to their credit, they bucked up when they had to. Hopkins keeps. Not much there. Siegel defense alive. That's going to bring up third down and a long 5.
Rockwall again, number 51. Hopkins pulls it. Rockwall comes down the line. He's seen the statistics of what some of these guys have been able to do. As you see there, 300 career tackles.
Yep.
That is a lot of punishment for your body. Congratulations.
301 right there, and Kyle Rockwall, his 21st career start, and a stud at linebacker in Eastern Michigan. This defense, whatever was said, whatever was done in that locker room, is showing on the field for Eastern Michigan here so far in the third quarter, Ross.
They have got the momentum. They went with the inside trap. And Crosby, what an athlete 92 is, to avoid the block by Reeder on the inside trap, and then to get at least a piece of Hopkins to slow him down. It's a heck of a play by number 92.
Product of Colleyville, Texas. 17 career sacks for him. 32 tackle for loss coming in to this game today. And this will bounce out of bounds in the vicinity of the 43-yard line.
That's another bad punt. I mean, he bobbled the last one. That one just was not a good kick.
Yeah, no, you're right. 9:20 remaining in the third quarter. Eastern Michigan's got all the momentum. They're down 8, and they've got the ball when we get you back. 8-point game. Eastern Michigan's offense back on the field here. Army's defense making their way on. Let's take a look now, though, at who is driven to succeed. Brought to you by Akron. Cole Christensen. What'd you say? He's
right out of Central Casting.
Central Casting.
Look at that guy. I mean, he looks like a West Point linebacker right there. Junior captain at a place like Army is just incredible. They told us that at the end of the year, Jeff Monken, the head coach, sits down with every senior and says, who are some of the next guys? Who are some of the next leaders? Every guy mentioned number 54, Cole Christensen.
Those guys he was talking about were guys like John Voight, Ryan England, who were great leaders, great captains, and he is our Acura Driven to Succeed guy for today.
And he is a terrific player. I mean, he had a career-high 13 tackles last week. I was talking to him on the field before the game. I told him I think he can get a shot someday in the NFL after his commitment is over.
Yeah.
He runs that well, could back up all 3 spots, play on special teams. He definitely has the tools.
2nd down and 10. Wiegers, the fake, gets rid of it quickly, but he had all kinds of pressure in his face, and Elijah Riley, who came on the blitz off the corner. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 10 for Eastern Michigan.
Man, I love Jay Bates. Watch about, you can see Elijah Riley, the corner blitz. Man, they're lucky that Wiegers turned his head around quickly. That could have gotten ugly. I mean, if Riley timed that up a little bit better, he would have absolutely smoked Wiegers. Puts him in 3rd and long. Let's see if Bateman brings pressure again or just comes coverage. Looks like coverage here.
Eagles are 0 for 4 on 3rd down. Wiegers taking a shot, got him, and bam, right into his hands. Blake Banham up the sidelines, touchdown. Banham takes it, and he dropped that pass right in the bucket. A 58-yard touchdown. And Eastern Michigan's 2 points away from tying this game up. And they will set up for 2.
Well, Army only rushed 3. They dropped 8. But Cunningham, the freshman DB, just got blown by the senior receiver, Banham. And Banham has some serious wheels. If you're 5'9", a $195 on full-ride Division I football, you can fly, and he flew right past Cunningham. Now, they already used their first best 2-point play with the Philly special. So let's see what else they have in store. Perhaps they get Shaq Van involved in the passing game, the running back out of the backfield.
Van in the game. Wiegers has got it. Wiegers trying to get rid of it. Knocked away. Over there on coverage. Nicely done. They were looking for Sexton. It was Bordeaux over there on the coverage for Army. How about this? Tyler Wiegers, known for his arm. He couldn't have placed that ball any better. And the Eagles have flown right back into this one against Army, down just 2. Two-point game. Chris Creighton there, the head coach, with his back to us. His team, 3 plays, 58 yards. Took 28 seconds. 58-yard TD pass from Wiegers to Banham.
It was just a 9 route, a straight go route, and Banham just ran right past the freshman Cunningham. And then the 2-point conversion, Wiegers waited, finally threw it in there. Pretty good coverage there by Javari Bordeaux.
Yeah. Wiegers on the phone there, and look at what a difference the half is making for him. 5 of 8, he was that in the first half, but 116 and a couple of touchdowns here. And I thought it was interesting yesterday listening to the coaching staff talking about him, and Kirk Ferentz was fully behind the transfer. He was at Iowa and said, yeah, it's the best thing. He's not going to play here, and he got a chance to come back closer to home. He's from the Metro Detroit area, and he's been a good fit here for Eastern Michigan.
And on top of all that, he's got great hair.
He's got great flow, man.
I'm really
great
jealous.
Flow.
I was talking to him on the field before the game. He's applied to a bunch of different medical schools.
Yeah.
Thinks he probably wants to be an orthopedic surgeon, but wants to go into medical school with an open mind. Just a great kid. And really well put together. Watching him throw the football on the field before the game.
4.0 student. Flag down.
False start, offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And that one's the first penalty call of the day on Army on J.B. Hunter, the right tackle, the sophomore out of Oceanside, California.
Yeah, he clearly moves early. They had the unbalanced line again. 3 linemen, so he's a little bit wider. Not used to hearing the cadence that far wide.
15, and tell you what, you mentioned this earlier in the game in the first half, and I think we got to bring it up again because Eastern Michigan, they appear to be figuring out this Army triple option pretty well.
They've done a nice job of it. I mean, they haven't stopped it cold, but overall, I think they tell you they're pretty happy with how they've defended the run here. And there's a couple different reasons for it. Number one, number 77, Eddington's been everywhere, but also, you know, they played against them last year. And that is a huge, huge factor. 8 or 9 of these defensive players for Eastern Michigan played against it last year, so they had a decent feel for it.
Hopkins looking in the air. Catch is made. Eastern Michigan continues.
They think he lost the football.
They do. They think he did. Hayes was the target who made the catch. You see Myrick over there involved in the play. Let's take a look back here, Ross.
And there's another injured Eastern Michigan Eagle. Hopkins just throws the out route.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
Hard to see with that Eastern Michigan flag there, but it looked like his knee was down at first glance there.
Injured player down is Ty Eddington for Eastern Michigan. He's been valuable. This will tell us here.
Better angle here. Yeah,
he's down. Yeah, he's down.
That's not even up for debate.
But for Eastern Michigan, the bigger concern is McGill wrapped him up, and clearly down. Is Eddington down, who you just said on the last series, I believe, has been their best player in this game for them.
He has been excellent. The big defensive tackle, they can ill afford to lose him and what he's brought to the table. At 352 pounds with surprising lateral agility. He's stuffed things up. He's chased a couple things down.
So Army with a 3rd down and 8. They'll check out Eddington on the sideline, and they'll look to get him back in. Army on 3rd down. Needing 8. Hopkins drops back, got protection, got time down the middle, caught. It is caught by Asbury, who continues to make a difference. He's been more involved today than he's been really all season in any game I've seen for Army. 1st down, Black Knights, and gain of 31.
And where would this West Point offense be right now if not for Hopkins' ability to throw the football? Because they have not been able to run it as consistently as they normally do. But this is yet another drive. There's been at least 3 of them where a Hopkins pass has been a big part of it.
Big one there indeed to convert. Darnell Woolfolk back to the bread and butter of their offensive game plan. Gain of 4 there, and Calvin Hopkins mentioned missing last week's game against Miami. Took a shot in that San Jose State game, and that was part of it. Plus, it was also part of the effects that he had surgery on that same side of his body.
My favorite thing I saw about Hopkins is that his first 4 years of Pop Warner football, they didn't win one game.
Yeah, right.
And he said, Mom, I just want to play basketball.
You wouldn't let him quit?
I wouldn't blame him. Football is not a real fun sport when you're losing every game.
Here's Calvin Hopkins, gave it off to Andy Davidson. Davidson will pick up a couple. Let's take you back to that shot he took 2 weeks ago out in Levi Stadium against San Jose State. He said to us yesterday it wasn't so much the hit, it was the way he came down on that hip.
Yeah, you could just see the way he rolled over. I don't know, he still doesn't look to me when he runs the ball, Ben, like he's 100%.
Yeah.
I think he still is fighting through that. And he obviously is. He didn't play in last week's game.
Right. 3rd down and 4. Army started 3 of 3 in that department, 2 of 9 since. Handoff here, trying to plow his way ahead. They're probably going to measure this based on the spot. They needed 4, and that was Davidson, who's seen a lot of action in there. He and Woolfolk have seen the lion's share at the fullback position today.
Back up. Officials timeout for a measurement.
There's the word from referee Kurt Johnson. They'll bring the chains out.
Last time it was 4th and this short. They went with the quarterback sneak and got it easily. They brought in Slomka, the fullback, to help push Hopkins forward. But the way their linemen fire off, they were able to get the first down with a quarterback sneak pretty easily. So even if he is short, he's not short by much.
And they'll stretch the chain, and great call by you, Ross.
Okay, we're good. Move the chains.
Nose at the ball. So 4th and inches, 5:50 to go in the third quarter. And Army leading the country on 4th down. Their percentage 88%. They're 2 for 2 today. This will be play number 7 of the drive. And Hopkins has got it. Followed Bryce Holland, and no problem there. They get it by yard.
That is an easy yard right there. And frankly, I don't know why more programs, college, NFL, don't run the quarterback sneak more often.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be able to get a half yard at least on a quarterback sneak every time. If you're really doing it right with your offensive line, there's no snap count. Ben, you just kind of goose the center, lift up your hands, apply some pressure, and then he snaps it. You get such a jump on the D-line.
As opposed to turning around and handing the ball off. And I mean, it's not a lot of time, but it's time. On the ground here, and about a 3-yard pickup for the Black Knights here.
Well, that's the one thing about football that I think a lot of people don't realize is so much of it is just initial quickness.
Yeah.
So much of it is how quickly you get off the snap, how quickly you get your first step down, your second step. But all summer, I used to just work on how fast I could get my first 2 feet in the ground. Bam, 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 bam. You know, there aren't any combine tests for that.
Right.
You know, it has nothing to do with bench or how high you can jump or your 40 time. It's how quick you are out of your stance. And here they come with the unbalanced again to the right side.
Yes. Hopkins going to take a timeout, though. Play clock was winding down.
Timeout. Army, they're first. This will be a full immediate timeout.
4:31 remaining in the third quarter. Army will talk things over, leading by 2 and on the march here in Ypsilanti. Coming up next, it's the battle in the American on CBS Sports Network as Cincinnati collides with SMU, followed by the defending Mountain West champs Boise State taking on Air Force at 7 Eastern on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Good one here in Eastern Michigan's venue, Rynearson Stadium in Cincinnati last week at their first loss in conference play. How about UCF, number 10?
Look at that. The American standings in the East, UCF and USF. And Temple bouncing back from some early disappointment. That's a real deal division there.
It is. So some good games coming up tonight. Good one here, 2nd and 7. Army on the march, 9th play of the drive. Andy Davidson was the fullback. Hopkins kept it, can't get away. Eastern Michigan's defense doing the job there. Jeremiah Harris into the waiting arms. Calvin Hopkins went up Harris.
They look like they had more here. It's the follow by the quarterback, and Hopkins should have kept going upfield right there.
Yeah.
And he tried to bounce that outside right into Jeremiah Harris. If he keeps going up the field, I think he gets close to first down yardage. They had that very well blocked. And you got to think that this is 2-down territory here. I don't think they would attempt a field goal from this far.
3rd and 6, Jeremiah Harris, that last tackle, his 10th of the game. Hopkins looking to throw, got Asbury wide open and finds him! Jordan Asbury wide open, touchdown, 21-yard play, and Army strikes through the air.
I cannot believe how well Army is throwing the football. A great fake, Hopkins, just like he did in high school, right down the seam. Asbury wide open again. And don't look now, but Army has a passing offense this year. And it has been lethal in this game so far.
3rd receiving touchdown this season. Had his first rushing touchdown earlier in the game in the first half. since 2016. Calvin Hopkins now 5 of 6 for 116 yards and a touchdown for Monken's men. And his 5th touchdown pass of the season for Hopkins. Here it is.
Well, I almost feel bad for defenders when a team like Army can start to throw the ball, because you are reading your keys for the run. And so when Hopkins took that first fullback dive fake, you are attacking your triple option responsibilities. You're thinking, Ben, it's triple option. The last thing you're thinking is he's going to bounce back then and throw the ball to the slot back on the other side. That is really tough. To me, yeah, everybody talks about all these RPOs now, run pass options.
Yes.
I can remember going back to growing up, watching the academies, or even like Oklahoma with Jamel Holloway.
Nebraska.
Yeah, back in the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
That's the original run pass option there. Now, that's a called play. He's going to throw the ball, but you're putting the defense in a bind. That's a play-action pass, but you're putting that weak side linebacker in a position where he almost can't be right.
Well said, I agree. Salyers has it teed up. Army's on top by 9 with 3:40 to play in the third. That was Army's third 10-plus play drive of the game as they capped it off. And here's a look at Calvin Hopkins and his resume reel today, Ross Tucker.
Well, it started early in the game on that third down conversion. Then we saw the bomb to Hayes to get them inside the 10 again. He was able to hit Asbury earlier, and then Asbury again for a touchdown. Asbury is having a career day as well. It's been the Hopkins to Asbury show for the Cadets.
It has, and Calvin Hopkins, his line. And now Eastern Michigan's got the ball back, came out looking so good to begin this third quarter. Elijah Riley, a little too aggressive there as he body slammed him down. The flags are still raining in.
See, that's a tough one. I mean, he's trying to get the guy. It's a one-on-one tackle. He's trying to get him down. I don't think he was trying to be extra rough. He just is doing whatever he can to try to get him down.
Kurt Johnson will give us the word momentarily.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty, first down. That's number 23's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game.
So what he needs to do there is just hold on to him.
Yeah.
You know, and I know what he's trying to do. You got to be forceful to bring guys down. He's trying to bring them down. But once the forward momentum was stopped, you got to ease up there if you're Elijah Riley.
So now Eastern Michigan with the ball at the 43-yard line. Good protection for Wiegers. Nobody's open, though. Takes off. Flag is thrown. Wiegers taken out by Nautical. It is out. It is out. And Army believes they've got it. And the officials say they've got it.
What a play by Nautical.
James Nautical tracking him down. Using his speed. There is a penalty flag down. The 39-yard line.
Tremendous, tremendous play by Nautical.
Offense, number 79. That penalty will be declined. Result of the play, first down.
Right when Wiegers was just about to slide, Nautical came in with a Lawrence Taylor tomahawk chop and knocked the ball out. Really impressive job by Nautical, who does a terrific job. You see the hold right there on Hickey.
Yeah, Jeremy Hickey, yep.
And then as Wiegers runs, watch 19, hunt him down, whap, boom. And he knows what he's doing when he's rushing the passer. He had 5 sacks coming into the day.
All 8 opponent fumbles this season recovered by Army. Part of the reason they're 5-2 is Woolfolk gets the handoff and gets about 4 on first down. So Army on top 23-14. Wiegers on the phone with Aaron Keene, the OC, and got 3 minutes to play. And this third quarter. Here's another look at the fumble, Ross.
And that is perfect. And if you're Uyghurs, he could feel and sense that an Army defender was coming. And so when you get in that situation, especially as a fifth-year senior, you got to hold the ball tighter. You got to go two hands. He's not a guy that runs very often, so he's not comfortable being in that position.
Chandler Ramirez got on the ball, recovered it. Darnell Woolfolk again. This will bring up about 4 needed to convert. It's third down. This point of the field, Army's going to go for it if they don't get it.
What a turn of events.
Yes.
The last couple minutes have been just when it looked like Eastern Michigan had all the momentum. Army makes a big play in the passing game, and now they get the turnover they needed. They got unbalanced line again. This time it's to the left side with J.B. Hunter outside the left tackle.
That's Asbury in motion. Davidson was the fullback. Hopkins keeps. Calvin Hopkins has the first down. Tough running from Hopkins. They finally get him down. And a big pickup there for Hopkins. A gain of 11 to move the sticks for Army.
And he ran to the weak side. He ran away from the unbalanced line. The unbalanced line, you have 3 offensive linemen to one side, only 1 to the other side. But what happens is, Ben, the defense adjusts. They slide everybody over to account for you going unbalanced. So a lot of times, the yardage and the best plays are going weak. We ran a lot of unbalance in high school in the old wing T offense, and it was a lot of times running to the weak side was our bread and butter.
Here's Calvin Hopkins, a ton of room. Hopkins, another first down for Army as he takes it down to the 17-yard line as he picks up 13 on the run.
Officials
Army
timeout on
starting
the
to wear him
field for
down
injured
now
player.
on this drive. That was yet another big hole, and Hopkins is getting going a little bit now.
Injured Eastern Michigan player down on the field. They're tending to him at the 20-yard line. It's Eddington, Ty Eddington again. Second time he's been down here in the half after playing so well today.
Well, and in fairness to him, you got to think about as they're looking at his right leg, you know, he's taken a lot of blocks to his lower leg. That's a big part of what this West Point offensive line does. They're going to go low a lot, and if you're 6'3", 352, you're going to get cut down.
Yeah.
You got to really try to protect your legs and really give. If they do get it, give. Don't try to fight it, because that's how you get a sprained MCL.
So he walks off under his own power again.
And the thing is, too, Ben, you can't really practice against it.
No, it's so tough.
They throw bags at him and stuff, but it's not the same as having a 280-pound human being dive at your knees as hard as they can. And really not even dive, run through your knees as hard as they can.
And every coach you talk to that has to face Army, the one thing that they always leave me thinking about, along with what you're mentioning, is the fact that you cannot replicate the speed of it. It's impossible.
I've never heard of what Coach Nethery, the defensive coordinator for Eastern Michigan, told us about. I'll tell you after this play.
Yep, first down and 10 for Army. Inside the red zone, Hopkins has been doing it on this drive. 17th carry of the game for Calvin Hopkins. He's got 78 yards on the ground. He's 5 of 6 for 116 and a touchdown through the air.
So Coach Nethery, the defensive coordinator, Neil Nethery, for Eastern Michigan, told us they spent 15 minutes every Sunday all season on the Army offense. So a couple days in spring ball, a couple days during fall camp, and 15 minutes every Sunday. I've never heard of that before. During the season, a team actually spending practice time on someone that they're not playing that next weekend.
Yeah. So the Army faithful, you hear the roar from them across from us.
That's the end.
The Army fourth quarter warriors, they call themselves, and they sprint down to the other end of the field on the road, trying to make it 6-2 on the season, but a lot of ball game left. That's the end of the third quarter. Army on top, 23-14. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by the Home Depot. Buckle up, fourth quarter set to begin. Army on top, 23-14 with Ross Tucker. My name is Ben Holden, all of our great crew, and Jeff Monk, and he talked about it yesterday when we met with him, Ross. They led 21-7 entering the fourth quarter last week against Miami. They only had 12 yards, and the game was won by Army in double overtime, but it probably should have never got to that point. And you saw the numbers on Eastern Michigan, our Bud Light inside tracks there. Clay Holford on the stop, Rockwall helping out as well on Kelvin Hopkins. And so in the first half, if you weren't with us, Eastern Michigan 3 times forced Army field goals in this territory of the field. They need to do it again here for their sake. Hopkins has carried it the last 4 plays. Hands off here. And getting down inside of the 5-yard line. They get close, but not quite enough. Was Darnell Woolfolk.
Woolfolk with the cover. First and 1. Riding on the tackle, that's Holford. The ball spotted at the 3-yard line.
Captain Woolfolk lined up behind Hopkins. And Hopkins kept it. He did. Listening to you, man, up here.
Quarterback keeper positive.
Jordan? Yeah, he's not 100%. Doesn't look at it all. Jordan Asbury has 2 touchdowns. He has both touchdowns for Army, in fact. Yeah. Nice play of the drive. Hopkins got tangled up in there, still trying to fight his way in. And that is quite a pile. And he is well short about the 1.5-yard line. It really was. Max Crosby, no surprise, he's in that rugby scrum. This is the 4th 10 or more play drive Army has put together in this game today. Huge play here on 3rd and goal. Can Eastern Michigan and Crosby stop them? Woolfolk the back behind Hopkins, and they get him. They get him. The Eagles flexing their muscle, and they stop him.
On the carry.
Yeah.
4th down.
Army 3 of 3 on 4th down. Little pass, they get it! Touchdown! Cal Walker!
Pass completed to
Oh,
number
that
4.
tricky
Walker,
Brent Davis!
touchdown, Army.
Another passing touchdown for his offense, and Hopkins drops it into Walker's arms, and Army extends the lead. It's 29-14.
Longtime followers of Army football texting me. They've never seen Army
What's
throw the ball
going on?
like this.
Army to attempt the play.
Best passing attack since Ronnie Makeda in '96.
You know what is a point after tacked on by Abercrombie. If you ever sat in a meeting with me at Army for 7 years, I've said, throw the ball more. I'm taking no credit. I'm just saying it's nice to see him have the ability to do that now with Hopkins. He's thrown 6 touchdowns this season. And he is doing it here on the road. Calm, cool, and collected to Kel Walker. Army by 16. 11:26 remaining in the fourth quarter. Army's extended the lead back to 16 and a 16-0 lead at halftime. And Eastern Michigan came out to begin the third quarter. Looked like a different team, well, more so on the offensive side, because defensively they played well in the first half. Even though they gave up 16, it could have been a lot worse. They held them to 3 field goals.
It has been a roller coaster game. It was all Army in the first half, and then third quarter was a lot of Eastern Michigan. Credit the cadets. They just never really get down, being able to come back mentally.
Yeah, fair catch called for inside of the 5-yard line. So Army will bring the defense on, and that means, oh boy, Kenneth Brinson's wearing gloves today, Ross Tucker. What's going on?
Oh my goodness. I was watching him last week. Look at this guy. 37 starts, 3.9 GPA, Campbell Trophy, which is really the best award you can get as a college football player.
Yeah.
When you combine the academics, and he does Army shot put and discus. Chemical engineering, by the way.
Smart
Who has
dude.
a 3.9 in chemical engineering?
He does. Our Phillips 66 Athlete of the Week as Banham makes the catch. And
Although watching him last week on film,
Yeah.
he didn't tape his wrists.
which got everybody
He
thinking
didn't
on our
have it-
crew, right?
He only wears the gloves when it's cold, they said. He doesn't wear it for protection or for grip or anything like that.
Got everybody thinking about some other notable, I guess, unique things in sports as the tackle made in there on Latu. And so Jorge Posada never wore batting gloves with the Yankees, and Craig McTavish, the last NHL player to not wear a helmet.
I cannot imagine playing football at a high level Division I without taping your wrists for all of the contact you have.
There's a pass delivered and caught. It's Dylan Drummond.
He almost broke through.
He did. He's speedy. First down, Eastern Michigan. How about playing hockey with no helmet?
That's crazy. And I remember that growing up. I remember that
Yeah.
going to Flyers games.
We digress.
Wiegers getting the ball out of his hands quickly. Watch right here. He almost,
Yeah.
they just got his shoelace. Otherwise, Drummond would have taken that to the house.
Freshman out of Cleveland, Ohio. Eastern Michigan, another big chunk picked up there to the 40-yard line. It was Wiegers. Gain of 7.
They don't do a lot of that. He's not really a big runner. But I like Eastern Michigan trying to go with some tempo here. Less than 10 minutes remaining. And the way Army drives the football, you better try to get an extra possession if you can. I think they should be going even more of a hurry up.
Yeah. 7-yard run, the longest run of the day for Eastern Michigan.
Army showing pressure here against this empty set.
Second down and 3 from the 40.
Chess match. Both sides audibling.
Banham the intended target, and a heck of a shot delivered on Wiegers.
This has to be completed. Wiegers knew the blitz was coming, threw it to Banham a little bit low, but
Yeah.
Banham's got to catch that pass.
He does.
Because Wiegers saw the pressure and blitz and diagnosed it correctly.
3rd and 3. Eagles 1 of 5. Wiegers gets it out too high though. And it's 4th down. Flag is down on the near side at the 39-yard line, so we'll have to check that from referee Kurt Johnson.
Offside, defense, number 56, 5-yard penalty. Yardage results in a first down.
So Kenneth Brinson, the guilty party there, lined up offsides.
Yeah, he's in a 2-point stance, and his helmet, shoulder pads were over the line. The ball was right on the line. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not as smart as we just said he was. I don't know.
No, he is.
You know, sometimes book smart doesn't mean you're football smart.
Understood.
I'll just point that
Oh,
out.
I get that. Here's Wiegers now. Fresh set of downs. After the penalty, Wiegers got some room, right side, slides in safely at the 30-yard line. Riley over in the vicinity there to make sure he's down. They're going to spot him down, though, actually at the 31, Ross.
Really good decision by Wiegers. He's made a lot of them today. You know, he did have the one fumble that was a terrific play by Nautical, but for the most part, Wiegers has gone to the right place with the ball. He's thrown it away. He's tucked it and run it. Heady kid. He plays like a guy with a lot of experience, even though he really didn't get that experience at Iowa.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of time in his tenure there. This ball intended for Banham. Like Brinson came in there, might have got a piece of that. Certainly affected the throw, no question.
Right, another time where Wiegers knew where to go with the football because Brinson was the unblocked defender to that side. And you're right, even if he didn't get a piece of it, Brinson definitely affected the flight path of that football.
Yeah. 3rd down and 6 for Eastern Michigan. For 5, Wiegers has got time, got an open man, catch made, beautiful tackle. Outstanding work. Drummond got dropped by Gibby Gibson. They're short, 4th down coming up.
Gibson is such a good tackler in the open field. I mean, that is perfect form tackling right there. That's how they teach it when you're in 6th grade. That's awesome. Eastern Michigan obviously going to go for it. You have to do it when you're down by 16 points. Army showing pressure again out of the empty set.
4th and 2, Eagles 8 of 18 on 4th down. They throw it, it's caught! It's caught! The catch is made. It's pulled in by one of their junior college transfers, Line Latu. Huge play for Eastern Michigan.
You want to play Division I quarterback? You got to throw the ball when you know you're about to get hit. You got to deliver a strike just like Wiegers did. He knew that he was about to take a shot, and he stepped into it anyway.
Wiegers got a ton of room right up the middle. And he's taken down inside of the 5-yard line, a 16-yard run. The other quarterback they have, Mike Glass, is known for this, but Wiegers showing he can run it too.
Wiegers waited 5 years for the chance to play football at the Division I level, and he's not going to let it go to waste. He is playing for keeps. Love what he's shown here on this drive.
No question about it. This will be the 11th play of the drive. A little more than 4 minutes. On the ground, Banham, can he get in? They say yes. They say he crossed the line. And Blake Banham was a running back, now a wide receiver. A running back here takes it in for the touchdown for Eastern Michigan. Has a rushing touchdown, caught that long touchdown catch. He's got 2 now, Ross.
It's just an inside zone read. And the threat of Wiegers pulling it and taking it himself was just enough for Banham to be able to get that ball across the plane. And here they go now for 2. They're going to have to go their 3rd 2-point attempt of the game.
Yes. And they convert here. They get it in the hands of Banham, and they do. Blake Banham doing it all. Asbury's been the touchdown guy for Army. Banham's been the guy for Eastern Michigan. And it's an 8-point game.
One of the best matchups you can possibly have is your running back out of the backfield, especially when he's not even covered. Eastern Michigan right back in it. It's a 1-score ball game.
Great finish shaping up here at Rynearson Stadium in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Chick-fil-A game summary. Kelvin Hopkins with 2 touchdowns. He is the first player in Army to throw for a touchdown in 3 straight games that he's played in since Carson Williams back in 2007. And some right hand there.
Wiegers looks like his fingernail is bleeding there a little bit. I don't think that's going to prevent him from coming out.
No onside kick by Eastern Michigan. You surprised by that, Ross?
I am, but it's gonna end up working out because Kel Walker was on a knee when he got the ball. Kel Walker, he needs to know there that you cannot field that ball while you have a knee down. This is when he dove for it. Wouldn't surprise us if he hurt his hand there.
Yeah, no question. Took some contact there. As McClinton came over, and then
got spun around.
Yeah, Nautigal got a piece too.
So they got a 3
Please
out
reset the game clock
at
to
the
7:03. The clock should not have run.
Eastern Michigan got a 3 and out for the first drive of the second half. They need to try to get another one here.
Eastern Michigan had 13 plays in the first half for -1 for over 200 yards here in the second half. They need a stop as Darnell Woolfolk trying to get the legs churning. Woolfolk picked up about 3. So Eastern Michigan with 3 timeouts. I mean, some may say you're going to that too early, Ben. There's 7 minutes left. You're dealing with Army, who's had 4 drives of 10 or more plays. Eastern Michigan may not get the ball back.
Right, remember too, Ben, what Brent Davis, the offensive coordinator for Army, told us yesterday. They were too conservative last week against Miami, and they weren't able to close them out as a result. Part of that's because they had their backup quarterback in.
Yes. Hopkins has been great throwing the football today. Don't expect him to throw it. Here as a flag down. 23-yard line, left side, not much there. That Eagle defensive front has been the whole defense has. I know Army's got 30 points, but against this triple option, it is a different animal. They've done a good job against it.
Holding, defense, number 77, 10-yard penalty, yardage results in a first down.
Wow. Ty Eddington. The guilty one there, as good as he's played, Ross.
You don't see that call very often, but as a defensive lineman, you cannot restrict the movement. And he's holding Bryce Holland. They have to call that. That is the right call. His right hand on the jersey of Bryce Holland. You absolutely cannot pull down an offensive lineman like that. Coach Creighton doesn't like it, but you got to call that. I mean, they'll let you get away with a decent amount as a defensive lineman, but you can't just blatantly pull down an offensive lineman by his jersey like that.
First penalty of the second half on Eastern Michigan. Man, did they get through there in a hurry. Davidson, the ball carrier. And a short gain, about a yard on the carry. So 5:45 and counting.
Credit to the umpire for seeing that right there, for seeing the Eddington defensive holding. That's not one that they usually see, especially in the NFL, where the umpire is now on the other side. It makes it almost impossible to see some of those defensive holding calls.
2nd and 9. Hopkins to the air, delivers, catch is made, and nearly getting the first down. The grab was made by Jatiel Klein. Didn't play last week. Big catch there for him. Sets up 3rd and short.
Hopkins has been money all day. Just throws the nice out route there. That's exactly what Coach Davis, the offensive coordinator, said. We were too conservative. I didn't want to make a big mistake last week against Miami with a backup quarterback. His willingness to throw right there puts him in 3rd and very short. Do we see another quarterback sneak?
Army 8 of 17 on 3rd down. I'm going to say yes. It's worked so well. Instead, they feed the fullback, and it's Davidson. And Andy Davidson gets the first down and then some. And he's back behind the play. There's an Eastern Michigan player face down. Here's a look back at it.
Terrific movement up front there by the interior offensive line for Army. That was incredible. I mean, every white jersey knocked somebody in green back about 3 yards right there. Really, really impressive job by the Army O-line there.
This will be a media timeout.
LaBarbera, senior out of Illinois, down on the field as they tend to him. 4:39 to play in the 4th. We'll step aside for a short timeout.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Acura, precision crafted performance. By the General Insurance, get a free anonymous online quote now. And by Fubo TV, Don't compromise. Get over 100 channels of live sports and TV without cable.
And exactly what we thought, Ross. A close one, hard-hitting affair. Your keys as we revisit those here late in the fourth quarter.
Army really hasn't finished in the red zone as much as they wanted to, but they've gotten points at least every time down. Meanwhile, for Eastern Michigan, 9 possessions, 3 touchdowns. Not going to cut it. It was interesting. Their offensive coordinator told us they needed to score 30 points to win.
Yeah.
They might get 30 points and still not win this game.
Right.
And you made a great point, Ben. We talked about it. Their decision to not at least try the onside kick, they might not even get the ball back.
They may not.
I mean, here we are at 4:39, and Army has a first down. Now, Eastern Michigan does still have all 3 timeouts.
They do.
But they got to get a stop at some point. Otherwise, those timeouts don't do a whole lot for you.
Yeah. Chris Creighton in his 5th season, like Jeff Monken. Got him to a bowl game a couple of years ago. Of course, Monken's been to back-to-back bowl games at West Point. A lot of respect between the 2 coaching staffs and the head coaches. First down and 10. Darnell Woolfolk from the 44-yard line. Woolfolk dropped with a thud. I mean, that is not easy to do. He is a big, big boy.
5'9", 235. And I actually would have used the first timeout right there.
Yeah.
If I'm Chris Creighton. Because here's the deal. If you stop him here and you force him to punt, the timeouts aren't nearly as valuable when you're on offense.
Yeah.
You want to use them when you're on defense. And if you get the stop and you have 3 timeouts, well, what does that do for you?
Right.
Try to keep as much time on the clock as you can. Because you know they're going to probably run it here 2 more times.
Oh, yeah, for
Even
sure.
though Hopkins has had such a good game throwing the football.
He has a couple of touchdowns, 5 out of 6. Here's Hopkins with it left side. And they're going to take him down the 49-yard line. Ty Eddington back in the game. He's been dinged a couple times in the second half, but he's had, as you pointed out, more than once, had a very good game up front, clogging things up.
Well, and I'm just so impressed with his lateral agility to
Yeah.
get down the line at 352. That guy's got a future.
He's got 7 tackles today. 7's the key number with him, 77.
And here's the deal. I mean, we're already under 3 minutes. Creighton hasn't used his timeouts.
Not one of them.
And it's 3rd and 3. They're probably going to get the first down on 2 more runs.
See what happens. 3rd and 3 Army. Hopkins up the gut, and they've got it there. On the run, the captain, Darnell Woolfolk, gets it to move the chains with 2:31 to go. The clock stopped now. There's an injured Army player down. We'll get to that in a moment.
Inside trap
Officials
play.
timeout for an injured player.
The center, Bryce Holland, blocks back. The right guard, Peyton Reeder, pulls. We used to call that one dive back in high school, running the wing T, and Reeder, who pulled, is the one that's hurt. He's been in and out of the lineup a couple times. Holland blocks back. Reeder traps left shoulder there.
Yeah.
And Woolfolk goes forward. That's the old one dive. It's exactly what we used to call it. And Reeder's left shoulder's what's bothering him and what they're looking at and talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, think about, you are running into a guy in Barbara who's 6'2", 311. I mean, that's not good for your shoulder. To run into that as hard as you
Good for
can
anything.
like that.
When you run into it.
Don't tap him on the shoulder, coach. It's hurting.
So 2:31 to go. Army trying to get its 6th win and become bowl eligible. 1st and 10, the situation there on Eastern's half of the field, Ross.
And now you have to use your timeouts if you're Chris Creighton immediately after this play.
No question, you've got all 3 of them.
And you have to get a stop, quite frankly.
You do, you have to get a stop. I've seen this movie a lot.
Very smart play by Army here, even after the injury stoppage, to let the play clock come down.
Yep, no question about it. Hopkins turns, hands off to Darnell Woolfolk. Upended is Woolfolk, but he gets about 5, and if you're Eastern Michigan, that's the last thing you want. They take their first time out with 2:05 to go. 5 yards on first down is the last thing you want against this
Timeout,
offense. is
Eastern
what I meant.
Michigan. They're first of the half. This will be a full media timeout.
Well, they'll talk it over. These two teams
Timer.
played
Please
down to the
place
wire last year and
2:06 on the
headed
game
that
clock.
way
2:06,
once again
please.
in 2018.
Thank you.
Time now to take a look at our general play of the game, and we go to Army's offense. Calvin Hopkins, Jordan Asbury.
Asbury, as one of the slot backs, went right down the seam, and because they faked the run to the right, there was really nobody there. Hoying was late to try to cover him. Such a bind this offense puts you in when they can start to throw the ball as well as Hopkins has thrown it today. I mean, just keep this in mind, okay?
Yeah, what do you got?
Last year, Army threw the ball for 361 yards total. They've thrown for close to 800 based on how Hopkins has thrown it this day. So they've already doubled up their passing yardage from a year ago. And look at the time of possession.
Over 44 minutes. Hopkins escaped. Calvin Hopkins. Look at this young man run first down. What an effort. That might be your play of the game right there. What an effort by Calvin Hopkins. Ty Eddington had him, and Hopkins got away.
Incredible effort. He's got a 352-pound guy, almost brings him down, bounces off Hoying, spins around. He's got his buddy pulling him for a first down that just about cements this game for the Black Knights.
That's a block by Woolfolk. I know it was outside, but this is the 5th drive, Ross, with 10 or more plays by Army.
I just love that second effort right there. Look at all the guys in white getting in there, helping to push and pull forward.
To me, and a timeout taken by Army. So with 1:24 to go, they take a timeout. Eastern Michigan's got 2 left.
I think that Army took a timeout because they thought they were about to get a delayed game. They were worried about the delayed game, so they called the timeout. But Jeff Monken was not happy about it on the sideline. And he's still not happy.
He's still spitting fire.
Look at that guy.
I love him. Just his approach, his attitude, what he's done with the program at West Point. Calvin Hopkins, 22 rushes, 97 yards. Here, let's watch the game clock and the play clock here. I mean, they got the snap off, right?
Right, but they called timeout.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what happened there or what Coach Monken was so fired up about.
I haven't seen him spit fire like that in a long time. But he was. His team on top here on the road by 8, trying to close this game out. Eastern Michigan has 2 timeouts left, but that run by Calvin Hopkins on the previous play, to me, if this game stands, that's the play of the game. It really is. Flag is thrown. Timeout was taken.
Late penalty.
Yes.
Really late penalty.
Timeout Eastern Michigan. They've got 1 left, Ross, with 1:19 to go.
And by the body language of the Eastern Michigan safety Calhoun, Vince Calhoun, this might be another lack of discipline by the Eagles.
They've had a few of those today. Chris Creighton there in the middle of the screen. That's Neil Nethery with his back to us, now walking away, the defensive coordinator. Here's the word from our referee, Kurt Johnson.
Well, I'm a good mouth reader.
I hope so.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, dead ball against number 3.
Well, that's the 5th personal foul against Eastern Michigan, and the 3rd, Ross, after the play.
Can't expect to do that and beat a disciplined team like Army.
1:19 to go. Chris Creighton's only got 1 timeout left. For Eastern Michigan, all you can hope for, it's not all you can hope for, but you got to try to get the ball out here somehow, some way. Calvin Hopkins, what an effort in his return. Way back at 12 o'clock, we came on the air, talked about Him coming back, missed last week. Army got a great win in 2 overtime. Look at him. I mean, he picks up 8 yards there.
And I love the fact that they don't even hand it off there.
Yeah.
Why hand it off? Why even have another exchange? There's no reason to. What a ball game for that young man. Got to be his best game as a cadet.
He's had some good ones.
Definitely his best throwing game.
Eastern Falls timeout.
And he's run the ball very effectively, including that clutch first down a couple plays ago.
That was...
Got to be happy for him, especially after he had to miss last week's game when he re-aggravated that hip injury against San Jose State. Look how fired up he is, too.
Is. Such a competitor. I'll say it again. That run he made to get that first down, to me, that's the biggest play in this game.
Like a lot of these Army players, he went to the prep school for a year.
Yeah.
Before he went on main campus, actually played for my teammate, Andy Wolfram.
Yes.
My teammate in high school, while missing high school in Reading, Pennsylvania. Andy's dad actually all-time winningest coach, 300 wins last week, but Andy is the coach at the prep school, so he's coached a lot of these guys, including Hopkins, who's had just a terrific day.
Third 100-yard rushing game of the year for Calvin Hopkins. Darnell Woolfolk there, number 33. Been a workhorse for those guys in the fullback spot. 82 yards for Darnell Woolfolk. Mike Vitti coaches them up, and here's what's next for Army. They'll play Air Force. We'll have the call for you to begin the day next Saturday. Then they've got Lafayette and an undefeated Colgate team, and then the game with Navy, who's having a down year. I mean, Army's now at 6 wins, bowl eligible. They got a chance for back-to-back 10-win seasons.
And I know Colgate's FCS, but that will not be an easy game.
They're a good team.
Colgate has a really good team.
They really do. So there was issues with the game clock. It went down to 0. They had to reset it. Not down to 0 yet. And Woolfolk trying to get in! And Darnell Woolfolk takes it in for the touchdown!
Touchdown.
So the first fullback touchdown of the game. Army got to go all the way back to the Duke game to start the year where a fullback didn't score, but Darnell Woolfolk's in here.
Well, it was just very well blocked, and Woolfolk spins in, but really he didn't need to score, Ben. I mean, if he goes down right there, the game's over. Now you almost give Eastern Michigan a chance, theoretically, right?
Theoretically.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Abercrombie to attempt the point out.
8th rushing touchdown.
And Eastern Michigan was not letting them score there, by the way. No. Although that would have been the right move. I mean, if you're Eastern Michigan, I think letting them score there at least gives you a chance to maybe throw something deep and then an onside kick.
I mean, you got a 15-point deficit, 45 seconds left, and 1 timeout. It would be a major miracle, but stranger things have happened.
Woolfolk has a nose for the end zone.
Well, plays 84 yards. He does, 84 yards, 6'17".
Could you do 37 push-ups right now?
Right now, I'd have to warm up first. I guess doing the push-ups would warm me up.
Yeah, you could do 37 push-ups.
I think so.
Yeah.
Could you?
I could if I was on TV. They might not be perfect form, but if I'm on TV and someone's watching me, I'd find a way to gut out 37, yeah. might not be good for my shoulders.
Yeah. Darnell Woolfolk, touchdown.
This might break the streak of 1-score games for Army and Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, exactly.
They both have played in so many 1-score games. That Woolfolk touchdown, we're about to have another 1-score game.
Yep. Woolfolk, 24 carries, 91 yards, and the touchdown, capped that 12-play drive. Well, Eastern will get the ball back, but with less than a minute to go. And Army got the football with 7 and change. When I had said that, they may not get it back. That's the problem. This offense executes the way it's capable and the way it has. They're tough to beat. Coming up next, Battle in the American on CBS Sports Network as Cincinnati collides with SMU, followed by the defending Mountain West champs, Boise State. They'll take on Air Force at 7 Eastern right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So Eastern Michigan down 15 points here. 45 seconds remaining in the ball game. This game was 16-0 at half and 16-14 in the third quarter. There's a pass to Banham, caught, taken down across midfield as on the backside after a 30-yard pickup was James Nautigal with a tackle.
Clock stops in college football until they set the chains on a first down. So you got to be ready to snap it and go right away.
Wiegers has it, near side, catch made, they'll get out of bounds. Reception made by Dylan Drummond.
That's one where you'd like James Gibson, number 2 for Army, to have outside leverage there and not let him get out of bounds. Really, all of the Army defenders here should have outside leverage on the receivers they're covering. Don't get beat deep, and don't let them catch the ball and get out of bounds.
29 seconds remaining in the game. 5 wide set, Wiegers floats it out there. Sexton, like he was out of bounds and came back in. I don't think that would have counted anyways had he made the catch. Blanketing him there was Elijah Riley, who has had another solid game today for the Army defense. 3rd and 8 with 24 seconds remaining now.
Well, and that's the reason why he was out of bounds, because Elijah Riley, as the boundary corner, is so good in press coverage and forcing the receivers out of bounds. Sexton really did well just to not give up the interception there, to come back in and knock it away from Riley.
Wiegers unloads, catch made. 40-yard line. It's pulled in there and caught by Lenai Latu.
I don't know why Eastern Michigan waited 2 or 3 seconds for a timeout there.
Well, they took their last one there with 13 seconds left, and they are facing a 15-point deficit on the 39-yard line.
Okay, so here's what you got to do. You got to throw the ball in the end zone on this play. You have to.
Yep.
And then kick an onside kick, and maybe there's a second left.
That would be the hope if you're Eastern Michigan, certainly.
I'm going to guess that the Army win probability right now is about 99.99.
I'd say that's safe.
I just don't think Eastern Michigan's got a very good chance. You got to go to the end zone in maybe 5 seconds, 6 at the most, to then still have the onside kick and a chance at another play.
So I'm looking down on the field at who Chris Creighton's got near side. Looks like Banham is in the slot up top. Latu's in the slot near side. Sexton's bottom of your picture at the 40. Dylan Drummond in tight as well. Cam Jones comes over, and it's incomplete. As he was looking to Blake Banham there.
I don't really know why you would throw a 7-yard curl route anyway.
Yeah, throw in the end zone.
I guess to try to get the first down, but that wouldn't have done a whole lot for you anyway.
And that's it. Army's going to get the football back as they stop them. With 11 seconds remaining, and the Black Knights 11 seconds away from being 6-2, bowl eligible once again. And they'll come on for one last snap. As Monken's men come to Michigan, they're going to come away with a 15-point win. And the 81st play will be Kelvin Hopkins taking a knee, handing the ball to the referee, and Jeff Monken's Black Knights go to 6-2 on the season. They're bowl eligible for a 3rd consecutive season. And tension's a little hot. Players being separated. I'm surprised.
You don't need any of that. Don't need any of that. Come on.
I'm surprised to see this. Coach is separating the two. Kevin McGill in the mix. Calvin Hopkins there saying, hey, calm it down. Let's look back. Hopkins comes over, gives the ball to Kurt Johnson. And then McGill gets in his face.
I don't know what McGill's saying to him.
I don't either. Game's over.
McGill clearly started it.
Yeah, he did. 15-point win for Army. And the Black Knights fly back to the banks of the Hudson, victorious for the 6th time in 8 games this season. Eastern Michigan drops to 4-5 as Army wins it 37-22. Jeff Monken's guys, Road Warriors, get the W, and the Army team will head over to the band where we'll watch and listen to the playing of the West Point alma mater once they get into position over there. What were your thoughts before we get to that, Ross?
Very impressed by Army's resilience in the second half after Eastern Michigan came back to make this a ball game, and really impressed with the new element that the Cadets have throwing the football. Going to make them awfully dangerous for these next 4 games and more, including the bowl game.
Yep.
Especially these 2 Commanders-in-Chief battles coming up starting next Saturday against Air Force.
So Kelvin Hopkins went to find every Eastern Michigan player he could on the field and gave him a hug. A show of class and respect. And let's now take part, watch and listen the Army West Point alma mater. So well done by the Spirit Band, not the full band, but they still get the job done, and a great win for Monken's men here in Michigan. 37-22 the final. Army 6-2 now. We'll step aside, take a timeout, come back with more here as Army wins it by 15 against Eastern Michigan. 15-point win on the road for Army. Kelvin Hopkins did the job running the Army offense back after missing last week. 23 carries, 105 yards, 3rd 100-yard game of the season. 7 for 8, 126, and 2 touchdowns. Great win for you guys, Kelvin. How's this one feel?
Oh, it's awesome. You know, it's great to get on the road win and come into a great facility like this and play a really good team like Eastern Michigan and come out with the dub.
Calvin, you told us yesterday that one of the reasons why you came to Army, they said they'd throw the ball more, man. You keep playing the way you did today. I think that they will. Was this maybe your best passing game so far as a cadet?
I guess you'd have to say so. You know, honestly, the biggest thing is just taking care of the ball. And I think I emphasized that, just trying to be smart with it and throwing it away when I felt like I was in a bad situation or not putting it in any dangerous positions for an interception or anything like that. So from that standpoint, I think it was my best passing game.
And even despite how well you threw the ball, do you think the play that you'll get the most kudos from the guys from will be that extra effort you showed, breaking a couple tackles to get that first down on the last drive?
Oh, yeah. You know, that's just a statement run. That's what this program's about. You know, I looked at those guys. I said, we got to get a first down. We get a first down here. This might end the game. So, you know, if my number gets called, if I'm going to preach it, I got to do it. So, you know, I'm going to go out there and try and make a play for this team.
Well, you certainly did that more than once, and I thought that was the play of the game. I really did, Calvin. So we appreciate you taking a little bit of time with us. Look forward to seeing you and your teammates next week for Air Force. And Mike, you have a safe trip back home.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, Kelvin Hopkins joining us, and Air Hopkins now calling him. Pretty impressive, huh?
Look at those numbers. And we talked about earlier, Ben, if you are able to run the ball the way Army does always and just have a little bit of passing like that, man, it puts defenses in a bind. It makes it almost impossible.
It really does. And his line today, a very good one. 126 through the air and 105 on the ground. And First multi-passing touchdown game in his career. Joined now down on the field by head coach Jeff Monken. Coach, how's this one feel to get this one on the road for you and your guys?
Just a relief, like all the rest of them. I'm glad we got by. It was they were doing a good job. We had drives in the first half and couldn't get many touchdowns, and it kept them in the game. Right there at the end, it was a little hairy, but I thought the guys did a really good job in the fourth quarter, and something we didn't do a week ago, and so I was proud of that.
Coach, did you have any idea coming into today that the passing game would need to be this much of a factor for the win? Did you have confidence that you'd be able to be that productive in the passing game?
I'm confident that we got a quarterback that can make every throw we ask him to. We just don't ask him to make that many of them, and that's not us. That's not who we are as an offense. We got to be able to run the ball effectively, and we did that some. He does a really good job of delivering the ball where it can be caught, and we got a lot of confidence in him.
Yeah, he looked great today, Coach. And talk about Jordan Asbury. I mean, he had a really nice game for you guys. What were your thoughts on his game?
Well, he's a senior, and he's had a really good career, and I think he's playing his best football right now. A really smart guy, very reliable, and a good athlete, and I'm glad he's on our team. He's doing a good job.
You told us yesterday, Coach, you were most proud of the mental toughness of your guys in overtime against Miami after Miami came back. Today, you're up 16-0 at halftime. Eastern Michigan had all the momentum, but your guys still found a way to bounce back mentally and retake the lead. You got to be proud of them once again showing that persistence.
I was proud of our guys. I don't know that we ever lost momentum. I think momentum is just believing. If you never stop believing, you never lose momentum. And I think our guys really believe they're a good enough team to win, and that we would find a way. So we made some plays. It wasn't perfect, but again, proud of the effort and the toughness of these guys.
Coach, thanks for this. Look forward to seeing you next week for the Air Force game at your place. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you guys then. Thanks.
You bet. Jeff Monken joining us. Final numbers. What grabs your eyes the most from that, Ross Tucker?
Well, I mean, 27 first downs to 9. And we talked about the time of possession. What, they have 45 minutes?
Yeah, 45.
Of time of possession. Absolutely incredible. And the rushing yards. I mean, look at yards per play. That's a little deceiving. Look at the rushing yards. And penalties obviously were a big factor a few times there as well.
Good stuff. Fun as always.
Absolutely, man. So cool to be able to do an Army game.
Fun. Once again, our final score, Army 37, Eastern Michigan 22. For Ross Tucker, Auburn Crew, my name is Ben Holden. It's been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Let's now send it to Dave Ryan and Corey Chavis in Dallas.